Yeah, let's go. I ain't the first with the curse, with the thirst that I wanna be better, not worse, man it hurts. I'm on this earth with my words and I put them all together, insert, cause I wanna have worth. Working hella hard till they put me in the dirt. Gonna go far, man, listen to my words. Gonna be a star, man, life's like a blur. When you're working this hard, yeah, you get what you deserve. Yeah, I ain't taking a backseat, I'm passing anybody else who is rapping. I'm nasty, ain't nobody able to catch me. They gasping, they cannot compare, they can't match me. I'm at half speed, I got your girl and she laughing and dancing, hanging on my butt, she asking to crash with me, smash with me, she savage, she wants cash money, and she knows that I live lavishly. I wanna live, I'm cold inside, give all I have just to feel alive. I fight to live, I fight to strive, one day I'll have what I want. I want the whole world in the palm of my hand, I got a plan, I'm the man, now I'm teaching the game, a veteran, better than anybody else who tests me. I'm ready, looking at my hand and it's steady. I'm trending, ascending and blending, lyrical bending. Now I'm spreading and getting my name out now. Yeah, they hearing me laugh, all the crowds repping the sound. I'm hitting the ground, running, up and coming, ain't nothing. Yeah, rookie of the year, I'ma keep it 100. Cold-blooded, no budget, from nothing to something. I ain't bluffing, I got a full hand and a full plan. I ain't gonna stop till I'm at the top, man. Every single drop got me feeling awesome. I'm about to pop, started from the bottom, yeah. I wanna live, I'm cold inside, give all I have just to feel alive. I fight to live, I fight to strive, one day I'll have what I want in life.
I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss, see. I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Choke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact.
Cause I'm my own worst enemy, only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it.
Hello and welcome to my Mind Over Your Matter. My name is Rick. Let's get the show started. All right. Without further ado, he's been waiting for a while, I know, because I watched him down below. Let's just bring him on in. Tyson DeLacruz. Yo, Tyson.
What's up, man?
What's
What's
happening,
going
dude?
on, man?
Good. How you doing?
I am blessed today, man. I am
Yeah.
blessed today. Yeah, you saw me in the back.
Yeah. Well, because my keyboard is acting up, so I couldn't really type on here, so I had to like run up to the computer and be like, "Yo, let's go," and then come back over here and get everything all set up.
Love it, man. Yeah. How was your day today?
It was good. Very lazy day. I didn't do much, but I got enough done. My body's kind of like acting up a little bit, so it's the change the season and my body's already feeling it. So this is not like the transition from seasons really hurts me the most.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Shout out to
But
everybody in the chat, by the way, real quick. Shout out to
yeah,
everybody. Yeah, what's up, chat?
actually,
What's
I got to
up,
see the
chat?
chat. Yo, what's up, Chloe? What's up, Albie? What's up, Stephanie?
Chat
Hope everyone's
in the
good.
house.
But first thing I just want to like bat a home run right now. I just want to take it off. I want to go to this little boy, right? The 11-year-old from Texas. The one I talked about it yesterday. You did a show on it. I just want to recap on it and then discuss it between me and you and what should happen with this guy. I have my opinions on it. I definitely know you have your opinions on it. I just want to recap on what happened. So let's do that right now. And let's listen in.
The Army veteran now charged with shooting and killing an 11-year-old boy who was playing a game of ding dong ditch with his cousin over the weekend is due in court.
So we're now learning new information from investigators about the case.
This 10-year-old boy, the cousin. I've talked to him and his family at length, and I want to relay how brave this young man is. This young man stopped in the street and said, "I didn't know what to do, but I wish I could have done more."
The case, as you may know, is now making national headlines as well. We have live team coverage this morning with the latest updates, beginning with Devon Rahming live outside the Harris County Courthouse.
Yeah, Devon, you were there when that suspect appeared in court yesterday. What have you learned since then?
Well, guys, this morning we've learned that prosecutors have gathered a lot of new evidence in this case, including evidence from an eyewitness who was out there that night. That witness we're told, is Julian Guzman's 11-year-old cousin. He was actually out with Julian running around doing the door knocks on Saturday night, and he was able to give a detailed description to investigators of the suspect in this case, including what he was wearing that night, as well as where he was shooting from in the backyard. But perhaps the most critical key piece of evidence in this case as of right now is Julian's cell phone. He was actually recording the moment that he ran up to the door and did the door knock, all the way up until the moment where he was running away for his life.
I unfortunately have had to watch countless recordings and surveillance of people in their last moments. It's never easy. It is never easy to listen to. But when you talk about an 11-year-old dying where we hear it, that's going to be just some of the most horrific evidence that I can imagine.
Investigators say the night of the shooting, Leon was detained for questioning and then released. But since his arrest, he has not been speaking. He's expected to make his second court appearance this morning for a bond hearing at 9 o'clock. Now, that's the latest on where things stand with this investigation. In the meantime, I want to send it over to my colleague, Ugochi Aloka. She's out there at the scene right now where Julian was sadly killed. And Ugochi, what are you seeing out there this morning?
Hey, Devon. Well, I'm seeing a growing memorial site here with balloons. We're also seeing candles here and flowers and a blue cross with beautiful messages written for 11-year-old Julian Guzman. Julian's mother even writing here, "I love you, Julian. You will always be in my heart. Rest in peace, baby mom." She also called her son very affectionate, loving, always smiling, and always attentive to others in a different post. I want you to take a look at your screen here. This is a picture of 11-year-old Julian Guzman. And here's the growing memorial site for the 11-year-old when it started forming just yesterday. Doctors pronounced him dead on August 31st after he was taken to the hospital with multiple gunshot wounds as a result of the Ding Dong Ditch shooting. Houston police say Julian and a cousin rang the suspect's doorbell 2 times before the third ring led to his death. Now, court documents say a witness told police the suspect fired a warning shot into the ground before firing a shot at Guzman as he ran away. Neighbors tell us they sympathize with what Julian's family is going through, and an investigator on the case explains how this ding-dong ditch game escalated quickly.
What we started off was 2 kids knocking on a door. 10 seconds later, they're getting chased down a separate street by an unknown man.
It's going to take time. It will for the family, for them to realize that their son passed away. It's not easy.
Yeah, back out here live, you can see also a volleyball with some messages for Julian here, a picture of him and some of his friends. So this memorial site was created here to really honor him, and we can see how they're doing that. We expect maybe more people to show up today, so we'll be following that throughout the morning. But we do know that the family has created a GoFundMe account for 11-year-old Julian Guzman, and our hearts and thoughts and prayers really go out to them as they continue to follow this devastating case. Now, coming up in the next hour on KH11 Plus at 7 a.m., we will hear more from that neighbor you just heard from there, as well as an extended interview response from the detective that also spoke that is investigating this Ding Dong Ditch shooting case. Reporting live in Houston this morning, Ugochi Iloka, KHOU 11 News.
There's so many here and across the country following this so closely. Ugochi and Devon, thank you. And we'll continue our team coverage all morning on air and during our streaming newscast. As Ugochi mentioned, that's KHOU 11 Plus. In the meantime, the full summary of all the details on this tragic story you can find right now on our website, khou.com.
Okay, so we're going to go right into it. We're going to play jury. We're going to play, this is going to be the court system right here. Me and Tyson are part of the jury. We're going to, based on the reports and what we heard, we're taking that as evidence. I think the reporters are horrible at their job because they're saying a shot was shot at him and there was multiple shots he got hit. So that's already like a mixed story there. Another thing, how were they knocking? You know, because I remember back in the days, we never called it Ding Dong Ditch. Okay, we call it the N word with the hard R, knock. Okay, that was the name of it. Okay,
for sure.
So thinking, okay, an Army vet. Okay, because I used to be in the Army, so Army vet, PTSD. Okay, that's the first question, if he has PTSD or not. How were they knocking? Were they like knocking really hard or kicking the door? Automatically, as an Army vet, I'm thinking, oh shit, they're trying to break into my house. Let me grab my gun. Let me go and confront this person. Not knowing at night, you can't really see. It's dark. You see a shadow moving and you're just shooting. Okay. That he's guilty on. Okay. He should not open fire, especially if they're running away from the scene. Now, if they were entering the home and they were coming aggressively, shoot to kill and answer questions later. All right. How you feel about this, Tyson?
You know, after like this particular video and the other video, there was a new release statement that came out earlier today about this. So apparently these kids were, and it was said in this video, apparently these kids were ringing the doorbell a series of times. It wasn't just one time. It was up to 3 times. There have been neighbor witnesses saying, hey, you kids better stop it.
Okay, but it was a doorbell because why would a neighbor tell them to stop it if it's just a doorbell? It doesn't make sense though.
Right. And I think, me personally, that TikTok challenge, that door kick challenge that was going throughout Texas, where the kids are like ravagely kicking the door. There's no ring footage or anything like this. If that's the scenario where they're like ravagely kicking the door and running away, coming back, ringing the door, kicking the door, running away, coming back. Like you said, this gentleman may have PTSD, whatever the situation is. But if somebody is kicking the door, I'm thinking that somebody's trying to break in, right? I don't know how they look. I don't know what the scenario is. I'm gonna pull out the gun and I'm gonna see what the situation is. The other component to this is they were running away and the kid was shot in the back, right? So
more than once, because at first they were saying one, now they saying the kid had multiple shot wounds. So
yeah, I think it was like three shots. 3 shots were fired.
3,
I think. So 3 shots.
Well, one to the ground, right? The one to the ground, and then 2 more, or the kid had 3.
I believe two missed, and 1 shot him in the back, and then he ran about a block, and then.
But they were just saying. Sorry for interrupting you, but they were just saying he had a couple of shots on him. He had more than 1 shot.
So, this. Sad to say, but this gentleman's a good shot then, especially in the dark.
I have a good shot in the dark. I was actually a good rifleman. I could shoot. I don't know, maybe a good distance, especially with a Glock. It's not hard. It's not really that hard, especially moving target. As an Army veteran, I could nail that kid from a block away, probably.
Yeah. So he was shot in the back, and then the other component of this is some reports came out today that this gentleman was found. The owner of the home was found. I think it was 10 or 15 miles away from his house with packed bags and stuff like that. So, that is a component that he did something wrong, right?
Yeah.
If you did something right, per se, you would just call the cops and be like, yo,
I shot someone.
I shot somebody. You better, bring the paramedic. I'm here. My gun's on the counter. I'm here. But the fact that they found him 15 miles away is another situation, 10, 15 miles away is another situation with packed bags. The media is also making this they found a bunch of guns in his house. That's irrelevant to the case because people can have guns. Mm-hmm. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
This is Texas. So he can have guns. He can have whatever he wants. But there's a couple components to this. How many times did the kids ring the doorbell? Is there a ring doorbell, ring camera available to see the actual footage, of what happened in this scenario? How were these kids kicking? And then the other component of this too is this was 11:30 at night. This kid's 11 years old.
He should have been home.
Where's the family at?
That's a question too for me. There's 2 parts on that. Okay, there's a recording from the kid's phone that they were recording. I guess that was live or they were recording. I would like to know how they were knocking. Were they banging on the door with their fists or were they kicking with their feet? Okay, so that makes a big difference because of the octave level of the sound of somebody boom 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 compared to ding ding. That's we need some clarity on that. But yeah, man, it's
and unfortunately, this homeowner is going to go to jail for a long time because the kid was fleeing. He shot him in the back. This guy's going to go out. And then the other situation is the reason why they placed $1 million bond on him was because they found him X miles away with clothes, apparently looking like he was fleeing a situation.
Yeah, suspicious. And another thing too, I would like to know how far from that house does little Julian used to live? Well, where he, from the distance from the house where the shots fired compared to where he lives. What's the distance? Because these kids, 11:30 at night, should not be out on the streets. My
Right.
parents would kill me at 11 years old at 11:30 at night. Are you kidding me? That's like what, sixth grade? Like,
Yeah.
my parents would wring my neck.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a sad situation. I would love to see if there is some ring footage available to see what these kids were doing, because that TikTok trend, after I post that video, like, there's a bunch of people in the comments saying, hey, this happened to my neighbor with the kick
Yeah.
door kick challenge. Stephanie in the comment section here is saying, it happened to somebody she knows too. And it's like, that to me, like, if they're doing that's aggression. You don't know who's on the other side of the door if you don't have a ring camera or what are those things called? I can't even think.
But there is a recording though. The kid was recording
from the cousin, right?
From his phone. He had a phone and he was recording the incident.
Yeah. Where I want to see that footage too. Like, I want to see that footage.
Yeah, I can't determine. Okay, depending on that footage, I believe is what gonna be the telltale signs of how long this guy stays in jail. I'm thinking 20 to 25 years. I'm not gonna give him life in jail. I'm not gonna give him the capital punishment, all because he doesn't have a prior, and he did serve our country as a Army vet. I mean, I'm trying to put the positive with the negatives. I know at the heat of the moment, if someone's knocking my fucking door, like they're gonna come in here, guess what? You're gonna get shot.
Yeah.
It's just it was bound to happen. This story has been going on for a while. I reported on this on other cases where this was happening, and then you did too, with all these kids coming up, and then that one that you showed with the gun, with the kid with the airsoft. And who knows if it was an airsoft or not? It didn't even look like an airsoft during the ring camera.
Yeah, you don't know if it's an airsoft gun, because the cameras are black and white. So,
I blame TikTok, man. I blame TikTok. I blame whoever's like not monitoring these type of challenges and stuff, and immediately just taking them offline. Because the trend of TikTok and young kids are able to access TikTok and get influenced easily by TikTok. I think TikTok has they're gonna get sued. I truly believe this is just the beginning of the can of worms being opened.
Yeah. Yep.
So, it's
Steph said the homeowner had other doors to leave. No immediate threat to stand your ground. Technically wouldn't apply.
Nope, it would not apply.
Not at his home. Yep.
Yeah, no.
And
he was running away.
The distance too, like the distance. Once an individual leaves your property, it's a whole nother situation. Because then they're considered fleeing away from the situation. If they were hit on the property, then fell over somewhere else, that's a different story. But it's apparent this kid was quite a ways down.
He should not have gone out there with a gun, man. I'm just thinking, okay, he's trying to protect his home, his kid. That's where your first thought goes. Oh shit, they're trying to break into my house and my kid is sleeping because it's 11:30 at night. Okay. Yeah. I'm pretty sure his wife is sleeping. They're getting into bed. The kid is they're already done for the night. And all of a sudden you hear this boom, 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 boom. It could be something that loud that it caught the attention of the neighbors and the neighbors told them, hey, don't do that. And then there's a lot to the story that's not being released by the media, and the media has painted this as like a weird picture. But that's why I like to break it down and then just have like me and you discuss it and go further into it.
And it's this kid's not necessarily innocent in all components, because there's still some things that are
True.
not available that we don't know. Unfortunately, this kid died, and unfortunately, this TikTok trend. Hopefully, that stuff goes away, because that's creating more nuisance. Like, it's just wild to me.
Copycats. Well, you already showed the videos yesterday. All those copycats, like every single video, even like the last one with the two people, they look like they were adults. That the one
Yeah.
that broke the door,
Like horse
The door-
kicking the door, like
Yeah.
horse kicking it.
and the door opened. The door was broken open.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like you see these people, like maybe this army guy saw that on TikTok, saw that on some type of video, and then went to bed. You're not thinking about this shit. So
Right.
where you're in a sleep and you fell asleep, and then all of a sudden you're starting to dream, and then the next thing you know, you hear boom, 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 boom. Like, he grabbed his gun, he had it nearby, and was thinking that these people were trying to break in, ran out. His heart's racing. You got to understand, this is a army vet. I don't know if he was deployed or not. I don't know his record in the military, but I'm telling you, from a former soldier like me, I would have chased the motherfucker, but I would not have gone with my gun, because once you leave your property, it's not like you're not protected. You can't say self-defense. You cannot like hold your ground. None of that applies. Now this is a chase and confrontation.
For sure.
And then
Even in some states where there is entry, and you fatally, kill somebody in your home, you have to say, like, I was feared for my life. I felt threatened. I didn't know if this gentleman had a gun, because there are some states where even forcible entry and shooting and killing somebody, it's a no-go too.
yeah, I'm gonna look through the comments too, because I had to use my phone, because it's that distance right now. It's not good for me. When I turn off the lights, like yesterday was perfect, but now it's not good.
Yeah.
So
Still in regards of jail time, yes. Like, he did shoot this kid in the back, and he did kill this kid.
yeah, Stephanie, I agree with you. Past curfew, no supervision. 11 years old. 11 years old. My mom. Oh my God, my mom was like, she was like Mike Tyson. Okay, she was built like Mike Tyson, and there's no way in hell. My curfew was to be at home at 6 p.m. and no later, like 6 o'clock, because we had dinner, had shower, dinner, whatever studies I had to do, and to bed. So I only had a few hours to go and play basketball and stuff. At that age, I remember the school was literally right across the street from where I lived.
And bro,
And they had
like,
basketball
in regards of the pranks, like that, in regards to the pranks that I played with as a kid, we weren't kicking doors, we weren't vandalizing people's property, we weren't doing any of that. It was water balloons, the water guns. We didn't do. I didn't do any of that stuff. Like, I didn't vandalize people's properties, because I was parented in a way that, if you destroy other people's properties, is wrong.
That's true. I never recall ever doing that, ever. I've learned about it because they used to do it in school, in our classrooms. Like, we would be studying and we would be doing our work, and next thing you know, you hear boom, 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 boom. Like, and they call it the N-word knock. I grew up in a different time. It was not ding dong ditch. That sounds like Bailey.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like that Bailey, she does the ding dong, but it doesn't, like, I remember because in high school they did that, right? And you hear the echo and the sound, and you do have fear. It did put fear into us. I was like, holy shit, what the? And then the teacher's like, what the fuck? And he's running like to the door, and the kids are hauling ass already, so they can't be caught. But this guy was quick, man. For a soldier, he grabbed his gun and went out there and chased. And the fact that he couldn't ID him, right? Because he's chasing him, and then you're just seeing this little figure going, because this is 11 years old. How tall can you be? What, 5'7", maybe 5'6", 5'7"?
As an 11-year-old?
Yeah.
No.
Because I mean,
maybe I don't know what the growth hormones in the food, but maybe
he looked
5 foot, maybe.
He looked pretty tall. I don't know. I would like to get his exact measurements to know what his height is, because you see a 5'6" guy, maybe 5'6", running, is a short dude, and he's not realizing, holy shit. And then I don't know, with his heart, he's racing, he his breathing, and quick, I don't know what the fuck, boom, boom, shoot. How many shots, right? I would like to hear, because all this was recorded. All this was the phone is the biggest piece of the puzzle, and I would like to know how many shots, the kid, gasping and asking for help, and like, yeah.
Steph said, "I'm not gonna lie. I used to take garden gnomes and put them in the neighbor's yard. But that's innocent. Like, you're not destroying property, right?
Yeah, that's different.
Like, you're not breaking windows. I remember when I first moved into my first place, they stole my garden lights, my front accent lights. I'm like, dude, what is going on here?
Yeah. It was funny. I did this one time. I got a rat, right? It was a rat model, like it looked like just like a rat, and I put it on the backyard of my aunt's, her porch area. So then I went inside and I was like, "Oh, Titi, look!" And my aunt came and looked. She started screaming, "Ah!" And it was a rat that I put on the back. It was so funny to me, and that was the innocent pranks that I used to play.
Yeah.
But I never kicked in a door, or never boom, boom, boom to. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that was on TikTok. That it has to have been that recording, or what I don't know, man.
Unfortunately, he murdered a kid. So
yeah, I can't. Yeah, that's the only thing that I can defend him on. He murdered a kid. He didn't identify nothing. Didn't what was he screaming at him? Like, the kid must have been running fast. He could run faster because he's a ex-army vet. But the fact that if he shot him twice in the back, that is really not good. One, okay, I could be like, but if it's multiple shots, 25, 30 years, I would give him. As a jury, if I was part of the jury, I'd be like, look, I cannot give him life, but I would give him 25 to 30 years, and not eligible for parole. Like, he has to serve that term.
Yeah. And it's life is a super harsh sentence, but they're gonna paint it, this 11-year-old innocent kid,
And I'll tell you the other side, because I know you're painting the 11-year-old, but I'm gonna go with the soldier, because I'm a former Army soldier myself. He's gonna claim PTSD. He's gonna claim mental fatigue from the military, and the banging sounds just triggered him, and wasn't thinking, and was probably thinking of something else, and went to, still not innocent. Two wrongs don't make a right. But the little kid should have never went to that house to do that, man.
No. Terry said he was 5'3" at 11. It's a big kid. Stephanie said 5 foot at 10.
My son's 5'10". Yeah, 5. Yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, he could probably been like 5'3", but I mean, and it's a skinny guy. The kid is skinny. he's a little fragile little thing. So I like what was that guy thinking? He's staying quiet right now. He's not talking.
Yeah.
So
Stephanie says people say you live and you learn, but he didn't live.
damn. Well, he paid the ultimate. He played the ultimate price.
Yeah.
You know, he
The man
plays
who shot
stupid
needs
games.
treatment if he can't control. True.
Yeah, play stupid games, win stupid rewards.
Yep.
And this one won the ultimate reward, his life. And damn, then that sucks. Because I can remember when I was 11, you know, and I remember all the stuff that I used to do, and to have someone chase me down and at night and then shoot me.
Wild. It's
Yeah.
wild, bro.
Yeah, I just, I feel bad for the army guy, but every time I start
I don't
thinking,
remember doing stupid crap like that when I was 11. My mom would beat me up, man.
yeah,
My mom-
yeah, yeah,
When the street lights came on,
yeah,
like I saw in the comments, like when the street lights come on, like
Yes.
I got to be home. You know,
Yep.
I got a couple
Mhm.
minutes to be home.
That's why I used to be home at
Or
6.
even before. And then the
Yep.
only time that I could be at somebody's house at 11 is if I was doing like, movie night with their parents or something like that. Something like in the neighborhood,
And that parent had to call my mom to ask
For sure.
permission for me to go over there to do that,
Yeah.
because my mom would not let that fly. Man, I keep thinking about it, right? And the years keep climbing in my head. Like I'm at like 35 to 40, 45 years maybe in jail. I mean, they cannot give him life. They just, I don't, it's just, he never had any priors.
The only thing is that he had a bag and he was like ready to go somewhere, like that's another situation.
That's yeah.
Like that's
Why
another-
the years.
Bro, like-
That's why the years are climbing up.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, if I shot somebody, I'm like, hey, yo, I shot somebody. You better bring the paramedic.
Yeah, yeah. But the fact that he shot him in the back, man, I cannot. He's just guilty, man. It's just how many years? I'm just thinking, what in the chat room? How many years would you give this individual? And just realize what we spoke about. You're the jury now. We're giving the case to you guys. Now you tell me how many years would you give him? I couldn't give him life, but that's just me. The chat is on your hands now. That's disturbing, man. Very disturbing. Yeah, man. We're gonna have to jump off that news right there and jump on something else. And I got something set up for Give me 1 second to set it up because
Terry-
YouTube is crazy. It's always
Terry said,
crazy.
I think I gotta agree with you, Rick.
But this,
Terry said, I
Yeah.
think I gotta agree with you, Rick. 25, no parole.
I agree, because man, he was an army vet. That's what kills me,
Wow.
right? If he wasn't an army vet, if he was like one of this like Tren de Aguas, one of these gang bangers and all this crazy, I would say give him the fucking electric chair, give him the fucking the firing squad. But this is a fucking ex-army, and I don't know his history in the army. I'm gonna do some homework on that. But holy smokes, man, what a messed up situation.
Steph said, we'll send you the interrogation of the woman who shot someone through the door and called the cops, and she got life. That's wild.
But she was in the army though. that's the only thing. That's if he was not in the army, if he was just a regular plain Joe, they would have thrown his ass like 50 to life. They would have given him, but this is a former soldier. So I'm like, And then he doesn't seem like a really, like, I seen his picture. He doesn't really seem like a harm, like a really crazy, like kill, you know, like he doesn't seem like a bad guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to see that footage with the kids doing it, man.
Yeah.
That'll expose a lot there too. That'll expose a lot if they were ravagely kicking this door, if they were just simply just ringing the doorbell. Steph says she was an elderly and a mom was banging on the door because she said a racial slur to her kid. She was not in the home. Wow.
Well, shooting anyone through the door is not you can't win that case. You're not going to win that case because you're just not. But this one here, I mean, mistaken identity, depending on how this kid was knocking on that door is going to make a big factor. PTSD, if he claims it, there's a lot of stuff could go either way. But what's a reasonable time frame you would give? 25, no parole. I agree with Terry on that. I would probably go probably a little higher, probably 25, maybe 30 years, no parole, and you cannot get out on good behavior or anything like that. But it's just so, like, he's gonna miss out so much of his kid's life, his wife. Like, it's just a messed up situation. He would have been better off just like, because that jail is gonna really fuck him up in the head.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah,
big time.
Yeah, it's not. You gotta understand. The guy he went from a comfortable, life. And
looks like a nice neighborhood.
Yeah, now to a criminal, possible serving like more than 20, 25 years easily in jail. That mentally is that's why he's silent now. He's just like, he's gonna plead probably something, like he's gonna say PTSD from the army. Hopefully if they have some medical records on him on that, or this is gonna be a deep dive investigation, because this case is gonna be interesting. And this was in Texas. So Texas, unless he gets pardoned down the line, I mean, that can happen too. But it's not looking good for him.
No.
And it's a sad situation. But I got other news to go through whenever you're ready, Tyson.
I'm ready. Hold on. Let me hit this comment real quick. If he had mental illness, they're not supposed to have weapons, though. Yeah.
Exactly. That's another thing. He had over 20 weapons. I'm like, who has over 20 weapons? I mean,
like a collector would, or a hunter. But
yeah, but
that's a lot, man. That's a lot of weapons. But
I mean, maybe mental. I'm telling you, he's not supposed to have it. But there's many people out there that don't even have a license and own guns.
That do, yeah.
So you got to see, like, if he was licensed and how long he had these weapons, and this is gonna have a full breakdown, man. Oof. It's just driving me crazy. But let's jump off of that. We're gonna go on to this news here because it's pretty important, I believe, and it has to do with alligator Alcatraz. All right, so let's listen in.
Immigration operation that's going to be happening there in the city. So earlier today, Pritzker did say that he's prepared to take President Trump to court
Oh,
if the
Chicago,
White House
of
follows
course.
through on those threats to send the National Guard troops to Chicago. Again, he says that this is all, he has not received official confirmation of this, but he has heard that the Guard could be fully assembled in Chicago by tomorrow and begin those operations in the city as early as Saturday morning. Of course, we'll continue to follow this
Tyson,
story here on Live Now from Fox as
this
we
isn't
get
really
more
going to happen,
updates.
dude.
Also, though, when I put this up on your screen, this is from the Associated Press, still talking about some of this as it has to do with the usage of the National Guard. We do know that the Associated Press tweeting out that President Trump suggested yesterday that New Orleans could be his next target for deploying the National Guard to fight crime, potentially expanding the number of cities around our nation where he may be sending some of these federal law enforcement officers. And so that's something that we'll continue to track here on Live Now from Fox. In the meantime, though, I want to continue on with our top stories that we're following. This information, though, just coming into our newsroom has
Breaking
to do
news.
with Florida. Alligator Alcatraz, of course, that's one of those very popular and things that we've been talking about as it pertains to a federal appeals court. Now talking about the ICE operations that have been happening here in the country. I want to put this up on the screen as well here. Take a look at this. This is some video that we have there of the facility, but ultimately what we are now hearing from some of those officials, including from the Associated Press, is that an appellate panel has now stopped the order to wind down operations at the Immigration Detention Center that has been dubbed Alligator Alcatraz there in the Florida Everglades. And so, of course, we've been following this very closely, but ultimately they are going to put on hold a lower court's judge's order to wind down those operations. The 3-judge panel in Atlanta decided by a 2-to-1 vote to stay the federal judge's order pending the outcome of an appeal, saying that it was in the public interest. Ultimately, it was U.S. District Judge Kathleen Williams there in Miami issuing a preliminary injunction last month, ordering those operations at the facility to be wound down by the end of October, with detainees transferred to other facilities and equipment and fencing removed. Williams' decision was issued in response to a lawsuit that was brought on by Friends of the Everglades, the Center for Biological Diversity there as well, who accused the state and federal defendants of not following federal law requiring an environmental review for the detention center in the middle of those wetlands. Republican Governor Ron DeSantis' administration in late June, of course, raced to build this facility there on an isolated airstrip that was surrounded by wetlands to aid President Trump's effort to deport the people in the U.S. illegally. The governor said that the location in the rugged and remote Everglades was meant as a deterrent against escape, much like the island prison in California that Republicans named it after. The state and federal government defendants have since appealed Williams' ruling, asking that it be put on hold. The state of Florida said in court papers this week that it planned to resume accepting detainees at the facility if the stay was granted. The federal government also claims that it isn't responsible for the detention center since it hasn't spent a cent to build or operate that facility, even though Florida is seeking some federal grant money in order to fund a portion of it. Florida ultimately claims that the environmental impact statement required by federal law does not apply to the states. But this is the big headline, putting it back up there on your screen via the Associated Press, that the appellate panel stopping the order to wind down the operations at the Immigration Detention Center dubbed Alligator Alcatraz in the Florida Everglades. This was put on hold there, that judge's decision. We have also since heard from Florida Governor Ron DeSantis saying that the mission continues at Alligator Alcatraz. The media was wrong. The leftist judge has been overturned. Florida will keep leading the way. And so if there's any other updates that come in here on Live Now from Fox, we'll certainly bring it to you. Also, this response that we have there from DHS saying a huge victory for Alligator Alcatraz. Today's order is a win for the American people. The rule of law and common sense. This lawsuit was never about the environmental impacts, turning a developed airport into a detention facility. It has and will always be about open border activists and judges trying to keep law enforcement from removing dangerous criminal aliens from our communities. full stop. And again, that reaction is likely going to continue to pour in the wake of this federal appeals court decision to put on hold the lower court judge's order to wind down those operations there at the Immigration Detention Center there in Florida, dubbed Alligator Alcatraz. Want to get that update in for you here on Live Now from Fox. We're going to take this time to slide away for a quick 2-minute commercial break. On the other side, we'll be heading out to talk about one of the other top stories that we've been following this week. Stay.
Okay, good for you. Okay, I was doing my little Trump dance because I know Trump is like, he's doing with the middle fingers. He's doing like this to these lower court judges because he court judges. Like, what's going on here, Tyson?
You know, it's really neat because the way that they built that facility, it's a temporary structure. So environmental studies don't necessarily apply for temporary structures. They're not permanent structures built on this particular piece of land. So I think that was a play from the beginning in regards of creating this as a temporary structure, not a permanent structure.
Yep.
And again, I agree with you regarding these judges that made it about an environmental study, but really it's about the voters that are going to be leaving the states.
Yeah, I mean, what I believe, because I used to live in South Florida. I lived in Broward County. I was born in Miami, Florida. I know about alligator. Well, before Alligator Alcatraz, I think it was the Tamami Airport, or it was out in the Everglades because they used that airport during Hurricane Andrew to deliver supplies to us that we needed. So that was the airport that was being used, and all the military planes were landing there and unloading, and then they would take off and they would bring the supplies in. So that was a staging area, and that was the main reason why they developed that runway there. And that runway is a really big. It's a military style runway. All the infrastructure is all concrete. It's like what they have up there is temporarily. Like you said, Tyson, it's tents. It has fence, it's tent. They're using like porta potties. It pretty much that's holding their crap, and it's being taken out on a daily basis. And I don't know what's the argument about the Everglades. I have more of a problem with these protesters that are parking their cars in the Everglades and dropping oil, dropping all these liquids like antifreeze onto the Everglades so they could put up their little signs and say, close Alcatraz, no Trump, don't touch. Like, what are you talking about? You guys are destroying the Everglades by parking on the Everglades.
Yeah.
And you're parking on the grass.
Oh, but dude, they're not going to talk. That's not going to be talked about, though. They're
Come on.
Trash just left behind the the nature, the grass, the greenery that's being destroyed from vehicles being driven over them. They're not going to talk about that.
Not one vehicle touched a grass on that airport, and yet you have all these hundreds of freaking protesters outside in the Everglades parking their vehicles on the grass. What chemicals fell? Because a lot of those cars ain't new. Even new cars leak too. All of them leak a little bit of antifreeze. All of them leak a little bit of oil. And that got into the Everglades by them just parking there. And yet, the environmental, nobody's talking about that, right? But we want to bitch and fuss about these vehicles that are driving on concrete. They're delivering all their stuff on pavement. Everything, their operation is on pavement. They're not even touching not one strand of grass. And yet you have all these protesters fucking up all the grass on outside at the airport. Are you kidding me? I'm getting heated. I'm getting heated, Tyson.
They don't. Steph put it right. Like it's whatever applies to them at the moment that can fit their particular agenda. Initially, when Alligator Alcatraz was opened, it was about the conditions. These people have fairly decent conditions. It's better than a prison. It's better than whatever. They're getting meals, they're getting showers, they're getting all this other stuff. Initially, it was about the conditions of alligator Alcatraz. Now it's about environmental studies, because environmental studies that they never worried about before are an issue. Okay, let's make that make sense.
I even heard there was like a stagecoach, one of those buses out there. They brought in the protesters and stuff, and they parked on the grass. It's like, are you like, that's more harmful to the environment? These, like, the government's not even doing that. They like, it's like reverse ecology going on here. What's happening?
They are losing the plot. It is crazy to me, man. Stephanie said it. That's their job. That's their job. My mind. They were booked on Craigslist. It's true. It's true. They found the gig on Craigslist. Some college student. He's like, oh man, $16 a day. Bam.
Hey, let me tell you, that's a good pay. Even they went out there. They're crazy. Okay, I like I said, I used to travel on that highway to go to Naples. I used to go past Bonita Springs. This is how I know the area, because I lived there. So that's Miami. So when you cross across to the Everglades, you could take Alligator Alley, or you could take the Miami. I used to take the Miami if I was going to Bonita Springs. If I was going to Naples, I would cross through there. That way I wouldn't have to deal with the craziness on the highway. That highway it's a pretty good distance from civilization. You know, it's not like a lot of homes or anything. It's Indians. They have like a reservation out there.
Yeah.
I think it burned down too.
Close.
Yeah, it burned down. I think they had like a fire, and it burned, the whole reservation there burned. But they paid these protesters to go out there and to protest. And you know the amount of mosquitoes that were there? These people, I hope they don't get sick. I'm just worried about their health. But these mosquitoes are probably eating the fuck out of them. I'm pretty sure they sprayed, and the spray doesn't even work with those type of mosquitoes.
Yeah, you need that 90. You need that 99% DEET over the clothes.
Dude, I would have gone there with a hazmat suit better, you know, because that way I wouldn't have like damaged the Everglades as much, and the fact that I wouldn't be eaten by these mosquitoes, because how many diseases has been breaking out lately with mosquitoes?
Yeah,
you know, it's like, that was stupid of them, but that's a punishment that they're gonna pay for later, because God doesn't like ugly. And that was very ugly of them. We're trying to remove these people out of our country to make our country better, you know, because that's going to free up more homes. That's going to have more food in the supermarkets. Look, even my camera wants to zoom in. More food at the supermarket, more gas. So that means if there's more, the price comes down. The price comes down, and we could afford more things. It's a very win-win for us, but I don't know what these Democrats are thinking. Like, they want to continue to fund this craziness.
That's how they build this perpetual motion of quote unquote peace and unity.
Dude, but like this like they were talking about Chicago before we saw it, right? Chicago's budget for next year is 1.2 or 1.5 billion dollars, and 600 million is going to the illegals to help them with their housing and food and all the medical and all that craziness. Are you kidding me?
Chicago's a whole nother situation, you know, like Chicago, like people are getting shot regularly and killed regularly in Chicago. Granted, there's some pockets that are nice, but people are getting killed regularly. That is not inducive to normal civilization, like normal United States civilization. The biggest thing in a city like Chicago, Las Vegas, New York, any of these places is safety. You don't want to have to worry about going out on the street and getting shot getting jacked, getting beat up. Old people are getting beat up in Chicago, and these politicians in Chicago are saying that nothing's wrong. There is something wrong. Businesses in Chicago.
It's Chicago. Chicago hasn't been good. I don't even remember a time in my lifetime when Chicago was ever good. Like the mob used to run Chicago. The mob used to run New York too. The drug empire was crazy, and it still is, and it's actually out of control because they know younglings can't really get in trouble if you put them to do the work, the dirty work. And that's what the real problem is going on in Chicago. It's not the adults, it's the damn younglings.
Yep. You tell these kids to do something, they're going to be put in, they're going to be put out. Something's going to happen. You know, like they do the carjackings, they do these muggings and things like that, and nothing happens to them.
Nothing.
You know,
they know they can get away with it. Yeah, they do JV? What was it called? The little detention center for them? Juvenile detention.
Juvenile detention.
So it's like they're gonna serve, and they can't give them a lot because if they're underage, like 11, 12 years old, they can't really what are they gonna do? They
should be prosecuted as adults if they're
right?
If they're carrying a gun and pointing a gun at somebody, telling somebody, "Yo, get out the car! Get out the car!" Like they
pulling the trigger.
Yeah, they need to be prosecuted as adults.
Yeah, and serve the same time as an adult. But going from Chicago, I want to go to this next story because it ties in what we're talking about. And let's watch it, and then we'll discuss what we've seen.
Anti-ICE protesters in Portland, Oregon, rolling out a guillotine, clashing with police, and turning the streets into a battlefield outside a migrant detention facility there. It's the latest flashpoint in protests that has stretched nearly 3 months now. A Democrat mayor, Keith Wilson, stands firm on keeping Portland a migrant sanctuary city. Our correspondent Dan Springer has that story for us. So Dan, are we expecting more unrest?
Every night it happens, Sandra. And, this is happening just outside of an ICE facility with hundreds of Portland residents living in apartments right across the street. And Portland police will not engage out of some fear that it will be perceived as helping ICE in violation of the sanctuary law. And what makes this even more frustrating for residents is that Portland police won't respond to noise complaints or even when assaults are witnessed.
Calling about the protesters. They cornered 2 women out here. They need help. They cornered them. Please send a cop.
Portland police have not made a single arrest since June 18th, despite a number of assaults. A protester hit one resident with a megaphone, then a fist. Despite the injuries, no arrest. One resident sued the city to force cops to enforce the laws, and this was uncovered during discovery. One officer telling another on the police radio, quote, "If it were not ICE, we could assist directly."
This is a full-on abdication
That's
of
crazy.
police duty in a 4-block radius that
Crazy.
attacks some of the most vulnerable Oregonians that we have. Now they've said, "Meh, we're just going to let violent rioters do this for 80 straight nights, and we don't care."
Police in Portland declined an interview, but said in a statement, quote, "We take these concerns seriously. At the same time, we are committed to protecting individuals' rights to express themselves peacefully." Now, all of this is on top of 3 straight months of protests in 2020. And this rioting has really taken a toll on the city's reputation. There are so many vacancies in the city of Portland right now that it ranks next to last in good places to invest in the country. And they've lost the top 20 buildings for offices have lost 57% of their combined value in the last 5 years. $1.7 billion down the drain. Sandra?
All right, Dan Springer on that for us. Dan, thank you.
Money talks, right? So does Jason Rance, the Seattle radio talk show host. And Jason, nice to see you. Good day to you. I want to roll a couple things here. Here's the flag burning. and the guillotine. We'll have our viewers take a gander at that. I'm having a hard time understanding how big of an area this is, or how many people are out there on a nightly basis. Do you have a sense of that?
Yeah, so the area itself is relatively small because they are pretty much focused on this one building, but a lot of the organizing happens a few blocks away with a nearby park. But still, I mean, as a whole, we're talking about a relatively small amount of space, but they're doing a lot of damage there, and that's the actual problem. Any given night, there could be anything from a couple dozen to about 50, even 100. I mean, the more momentum that continues to build brings in more folks who aren't just living in Portland and the general Oregon area. There are folks who are coming from California and Washington State as well to help out with this organizing and this all-out assault against ICE.
So the mayor's not going to cooperate. That's pretty clear. Here's what the Portland mayor said. Here's the quote. Federal administration deploys bulldozers and mass arrests by masked agents, the opposite of our outreach worker and emergency shelter strategy. Let's work together by volunteering and donating and prove the administration's heavy-handed tactics are not needed in our city. That's a no, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's more than a no. I think it's clearly rejecting any kind of interference coming from the federal government. And that's really what this problem is, because you've got two separate issues that the mayor is trying to use to generate folks on his side. On the one hand, you've got just the sanctuary policies. They want nothing to do with ICE agents. At the same time, despite all of this, they've got a homelessness crisis. And they're now claiming that the president is going to send National Guard troops into Portland to help with homelessness. And so he's using that as a threat to generate support for a plan that continues to fail, frankly, in Portland, and is a big reason why you've got that vacancy rate that Dan Springer talked about.
Here is the deputy ICE director talking about the cities that need the help, and they're blue.
As you all know, oftentimes these Democrat-run cities are the ones who need ICE the most. And the men and women of ICE, Secretary Noem and President Trump will not be deterred by Democrat members of Congress, of governors, and of local leadership who are saying they will not work with ICE. We will go into communities and we will enforce immigration law as it's written.
So, Jason, can you project for us what this looks like in 3 or 6 months? Well, we had the governor of Louisiana on our program earlier on America's Newsroom. And the question came up about New Orleans. He pretty much said, he didn't say, let's start this hour, but it was pretty much any day. And whether it was New Orleans or Chicago or somewhere else, how big does this go?
If it starts in Chicago, you're going to see considerably less controversy than if it happens in Portland or Seattle. The reality is, if they were to bring any federal troops to do any kind of policing, no matter how many people might even want it, you're going to have the large contingency of these thugs who you're seeing on screen right now get violent. It will turn violent. And that's going to be counterproductive to the end goals of this administration. I mean, part of me wants to send them in to send the message. A lot of these people, you can tell, they're dressed in black bloc. They do not want to be known. And so what the federal government should be doing is making arrests, unmasking them, and doing to them exactly what they've been doing to the criminal illegal immigrants on social media, which is taking photos during the arrests and outing the people responsible. That could make a difference. However, they are violent, and that's the problem that will be posed to federal law enforcement agencies if they end up getting more involved than what they're currently doing. It is a different beast in the Pacific Northwest.
Could make for a hot fall and beyond. Jason Rantz, thank you for your time, sir. Appreciate the input. Thanks.
Hey, Sean Hannity here.
That's
hey,
wild.
Click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our.
Let me set this. This is it's crazy. Listen, go ahead, Tyson, because I got a lot.
Portland diverted a lot of its like police money resources to do other things. And it sucks because there's police officers that joined the force to actually protect law-abiding citizens. And simply because now the situation involves ICE, they can get either eliminated or placed on administrative leave if they assist with ICE. There was a situation in Colorado where a deputy didn't directly help ICE. He pulled over somebody, gave them the ticket. They drove away. And then on a group message, he said, hey, this person is an illegal. Then he was placed on administrative leave. So this is happening in these places, and it is ridiculous. The homeowners, the individuals that live in these communities, their property values are tanking, the businesses are tanking because of all this crap. They can't sell their properties, they can't start a new business, they can't, walk in the streets anymore. This is a result of not allocating resources effectively for public safety.
Yeah. Like I wrote there, I live in a fucking blue state, and it's crazy here. And we only have one operation, maybe a couple of them. But we need a full ICE parade here. We need the brigade here. We just go. This state is small, so it wouldn't be that hard to go through these cities and start rounding them up, because there it's just too much here. The governor is in Lamont. It's a Terry. If you're in here, Terry knows more because he lives in the north west of Connecticut. I live in the central, and it's a hellhole. Like Hartford, it's crazy. I'm gonna do a daytime trip and put it on video and be like, okay, this is Hartford, and I'm only gonna do it in the daytime. I would never do that at night there, because your chances of coming out alive is really not that good. It's crazy. But the news, they suppress the news. They suppress a lot of. They'll say, the shootings that happen, it doesn't get reported. It's the Democrats here. It's oh, Terry, I wish you were here, bro, because Terry will be like tearing it up.
These policies that allow this to kind of happen are just wild. And you look at Chicago, the budget deficit going on with Chicago. They want to hire more police officers. They can't. Portland, same scenario. They diverted millions of dollars into illegal immigrant programs, homeless programs, parks and recreation, but not public safety. It's sad because Portland is I've been to Portland. It's a nice place. It was a nice place.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've never been to Portland, but I have been to New Orleans. And I agree with the governor of New Orleans and Trump about fixing it up, because it is pretty sketchy, especially at night in Bourbon Street. I was kind of like, looking around, just making sure nobody's like telling me or anything like that. It needs to be cleaned up. It does. The neighborhood all around, it's not safe. Especially like after Katrina, it was really, really, really hard, because you had a lot of looters. You had a lot of crazy, like, it was like the Wild Wild West that really did not get reported, but you can find it on YouTube of the looting. It's crazy, but the crimes, they continue to happen. The drugs, it's a lot there. Their major port, a lot of drugs are imported through the port and distribute, and a lot of people are dropping dead there too.
In Portland?
And New Orleans.
Oh, yeah. New Orleans.
Yeah.
New Orleans, for sure.
Yeah, and I was there.
The fentanyl crisis out in Portland. They got that
It's bad.
fentanyl lean. It's like,
Yeah.
or they lean forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, Portland's crazy. Portland, I hope that Trump gets the help that's needed in Portland, and just put what Trump needs to do, and he needs to like just get it done, is put the Resurrection Act, like, you gotta activate it, and just put the full military on alert and have them go throughout the whole country and get them all out.
This can all be minimized if these leaders of these sanctuary states and cities say, hey, yeah, cool, bring them in, but we're going to have them work in, this sector, or coordinated effort. Like, it is clear to me that these places don't want to take help from the Trump administration, but this is happening every weekend in Portland. People are getting killed every weekend in Chicago. Oakland is a whole nother situation. It's just like, hey, we need help. Like, yo, just come in, help us out a little bit, clean this up for our constituents, for the people that voted for us. Not create some resistance, not create a block where people are fearing for their life and they can't sell their home and they can't start a business.
Yeah, that's very disturbing, and like how Terry was saying, New Haven. Yes, I agree. New Haven. Oh my God, by Yale. Oh my goodness, that's where was it? Skull and Bones is from. Yale. I live not too far from it. I could actually do a tour and show you. Look, I could probably put it up here on YouTube. That would be pretty cool. Maybe look. Let me take you to Skulls and Bones here, where the Bush and Kerry was in that shit too, and how many other people were in Skull and Bones? A lot of people of importance.
What do you think? What do you think the best strategy would be if there's no federal intervention in Portland? Do you think the situation will get resolved on its own, or do you think it'll just escalate to a place where, it's
like riot? Like they'll do they'll try to do like an uprising, like how they try to do with the George Floyd thing, and try to burn down a police station and burn down all the businesses around and stuff. They're gonna try to do that, but Trump's not gonna let that happen. Trump is not that gullible. He will send in the National Guard and he will eliminate all that. He'll deputize them and start arresting all these individuals. And if they don't have enough space in prisons, guess what? They could build one. And they could do. They showed how fast they did Alligator Alcatraz. Guess what? They could do the same for the American people and put them in a jail, a temp jail. It's just gonna have to be that way, because there's a lot of those. I think too many people got comfortable with Biden and the lawless of the country during those 4 years, and the fact that we have someone now that's actually like believes in common sense and actually believes in law and order in office, it's going to make a big difference for us. And the battle is just not going to be days, weeks. This is going to take years, and it's going to go beyond Trump's years. It's just too many like gangs, too many crazy drugs on the streets. I reported on some other drugs that you heard about it. Damn, I forgot the name of it, but it's a new form of fentanyl, but stronger than fentanyl. That's 25% stronger.
Yeah.
That's out on the streets in the US now.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think it starts with an M. I don't remember the name. I briefly.
You know what? I could bring it up
on it. I briefly read an article on it.
Hold on, I'll bring it up.
The martial law. Can martial law be called in certain areas of the country with cause? I think it's the. I think what they're pushing is the Resurrection Act. For
the Resurrection Act. Yep, that's what I just said.
Lawlessness in these places.
Yeah, that's the only way that's going to stop for the illegal immigrants and all this craziness that's going on with the protesters and all this lawlessness. The Resurrection Act, if Trump activates that activates the military, it activates the National Guard, all the reserve Army and Marines and Navy, and all of them are activated to active duty, and they have to report for orders. And
all these places need to be audited. This is just my personal opinion. Need to be audited, just like they did when Doge came in on the with the government in totality. But all these sanctuary cities, every state needs to be audited correctly to see where these funds are actually being allocated, and then start fresh. Because money is going to places that doesn't need to go to places. A lot of these places were artificially propped up during the Biden administration with the C-19 relief and all this other stuff. And now they're running out of money.
Yeah, it's you also got to audit the federal government too, because I think you got to start at the head. I don't want to start at the ass. I want to go start at the head and deal with that, and then deal with the assholes, and then put them in their place. But America feels like it's been infiltrated, and we're under siege. And the fact that Trump is in office now, and it's very dangerous times. I'm like, Trump, you're trying to be gullible and try to go out to dinner and all this and that with your wife. I just would not try to be too much out in public. I don't want another incident happening like a Lincoln or, John F. Kennedy type of shit going on. If you're safe at home, stay your ass at home. Get this country in order, because right now it's just really out of order. I do have the report of the narcotic that's out on the streets. So if you want, Tyson, we can take a look at it. It's pretty short.
Yep.
All right, let's go for a go.
This afternoon from the DEA, a synthetic opioid so potent that this makes fentanyl look weak. And now it is here in Houston.
Certainly very frightening. The pill's already claiming lives. Trayson Bragg speaking with federal agents about this dangerous new threat. Trayson?
Yeah, that's right, Len. Take a look at these pills you see behind me. They may look like your everyday prescription pill, but the DEA says they are hiding a dangerous and potentially deadly drug, even more potent than fentanyl, called nitazene. Now, right now, the DEA is warning of a new and dangerous drug making its way into Houston.
That we're seeing that is really scaring us and is really hard for us to combat right now is nitazene.
Why the fear? Acting Special Agent William Kimball tells me nitazene is a synthetic opioid more than 25 times more potent than fentanyl.
They take fentanyl or nitazenes and they press them into tablets that look like prescription pills. That is being done locally.
In the last year, the agency has seen what they are calling a dramatic increase in nitazene issues. From last November to February of this year, the DEA saw a 57% increase in overdoses related to nitazene. What are the age? Are we seeing it in teens? Are we seeing it in 20s, young adults?
In the last year, we know of 15 people who have passed away from nitazene use. The age range for those people are 17 years old to 59.
Melissa Navarette-Tucker from the Houston Recovery Center says for parents, communication is the best line of defense.
As drugs and their purity begins to change, it's really, really important that we just get education and awareness. We need to talk about it.
And Navarette-Tucker tells me that the Houston Recovery Center provides free Narcan, which is a medication used to reverse the effects of opioids in overdose situations. They also provide classes to parents. Sherman, back to you.
All right. Thank you very much. Boy, that is some scary stuff.
Frightening.
Yeah.
That is frightening. That's so scary.
I heard the Narcan also doesn't
doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Nope. It's the medicine's so powerful that Narcan is not. It doesn't work. That's scary, man. And the fact that it's already here. If it's just starting to get into the news. It's already full-fledged inside the United States.
Yeah.
So expect more people zombieing out and dying.
Fentanyl, like 25% more potent than fentanyl. That's wild.
Wow. That's wild. That's wild. Like fentanyl. Like I don't even like. I went to Rochester, New York, about a month ago, and I talk about the bent over people, which in Spanish I call them lo doblao. Los doblados are the bent over people. Like I didn't even have a chance to even want to record it. Like next time I go, I'll record it because I'll put the camera on the freaking windshield and I'll record it. But they were just bent over, like, and they look like they're touching their toes, but they're like keep reaching and they just stay in that position. And it was very scary. It was scary traveling not even what 10 miles, and I saw at least maybe 6 or 7 bent over people, like overdose, like ODing and just touching the ground, and nobody's calling for like medical help for these people. Like no police are going and checking on these people. And this is a Democratic run city. It's very scary, man. That and these drugs are coming from Canada. We gotta it's just
That's something that's not often talked about, and I'm glad that you mentioned that right now. The southern border is talked about a lot, but the northern border is really open and exposed.
wide open.
Yeah. The only thing that is a deterrent in the northern border is weather conditions.
No. Yeah, you could drone over the drugs, drop it off. Look, in Florida, I did a story a few weeks ago of a guy. He went, he was operating a drone, and he had drugs on the drone to deliver, and something happened, and the drone fell on someone's home. And when he went to the homeowners, he was knocking for the drones. If he see if he get the drone back, the owner went to the back to check and saw the device, and then saw all the drugs. And that's when they called the police. And then the police came, and then the guy was talking to the police like, "Yeah, I was just trying to get my drone. It fell back there, and so forth." And the police went to talk to the homeowners to say, "Yeah, come inside. Let me show you what we have here." And it's like a counter full of drugs.
Crazy. Yeah, it stinks because they're pressing it in medicines that looks legit.
Like pharmaceutical. Yeah, they look like pharmaceuticals.
It looks like pharmaceutical drugs, and college kids are susceptible to this for
Yep.
study aids and getting
Yep.
high and all this other stuff. So they're
Yep.
susceptible to taking this stuff. And if they don't OD and die, they become addicted to whatever was in the thing.
Yeah, and the concoction. Like a lot of these like college kids, even high
School,
schoolers,
college, yep.
like they take these pills, and of course they're gonna drink some kind of alcoholic beverage. So 9 out of 10. I remember back in my days, it was like the MD 30 2020s. What was it? It was like
MD 30s, the oxycodones.
yeah, 30. Yeah, it was something like that. The MD. It was like all different colors, and then we had the what's it? The Old English.
Old English. You was drinking Old English?
Dude, like anything. Like I remember, like I got buzzed off of like wine coolers. Like I remember, like I was young. Okay, don't judge me, but yeah, I need to be judged. But I was young, and I wasn't influenced like really in a bad way. But you know, I was with a group of girls, and these girls were back like not. They were good girls. They were good. They're older, but they liked the young, and they liked to drink. And so I so happened to take some sips, and I was like, okay. And then I got trashed one time, and I was like, oh Lord. But I don't drink. I haven't drank in over 20 years now.
Yeah.
I didn't have a problem. I didn't have a drinking problem. I just started early.
When actually when you were talking about it, because during high school, they actually the opioid situation just kind of started evolving, So people were taking prescription drugs, oxys.
Yeah.
I can't even think of some other stuff, but
Oxycodone.
yeah, oxycodone.
Oxycontin.
Yeah,
I can name them.
They were doing all that stuff, and then they initially. I actually had quite a few friends, not friends, but acquaintances or people that I went to school with that died from opioids. They started off just popping them, smoke a little weed, drink a little bit, and then they went from popping them to crushing them to snorting them to crushing them to burning them and like smoking them on foil.
That's wild.
What's up? What's up?
Hey, Kayla. Yeah.
And Steph said Robitussin. Oh,
Robitussin. Yeah, when I was sick, I was always happy to get sick. Like my parents would drug me with NyQuil. I remember my first time drinking NyQuil. My dad and my uncle, right? They're crazy. They were young, dumb, full of cum individuals. Okay, let's just skip to it. I was sick, right? But my dad and my uncle wanted to go out to South Beach, and they were like, "Man, the kid's sick. What are we gonna do?" And my dad's like, "Let's get him some NyQuil." Yeah, but that's gonna put him. Oh, okay. That's what my uncle said. And they went to the store, got the tablets of NyQuil, and gave me one. And about 15 minutes, 20 minutes later, I was knocked the hell out. I don't even know what they did that night.
Dude, the Robitussin, man, I remember taking that as an adult, actually in college. You drink the Robitussin, and then if you pass like the passing out sleep phase, you are. I was toast. I was toast.
Yeah, no, it's like my early days, because I remember everything. I have a very good memory. That's why I put my mind over your matter, because my mind goes back to like babyhood. I can remember and things that happened to me as a baby. That's wild. It's so special because if I had my mom here and I was to tell her everything, she would freak out. She would freak out.
Man, what's up, Kayla? I'm doing well. She asked how we're doing.
Doing good. Going through some news. We got some more to go through. A little bit more, Tyson. I don't know. How you feeling?
I'm good.
Tyson stands. He's so dedicated. He stands, right? I'm waiting for the day he buys a fucking badass chair that's actually it's kind of like a high chair, but it's comfortable. That he could do like what I'm doing and just like
I was actually thinking about getting one, man, like to just kind of like lean on it. But
yeah, because it's gonna drop your camera, your everything. Right now is good. I like it, but the type of shows that I do, I'd be on for hours.
I actually have a little mat I'm standing on, and it has like little things for my feet to like rub, and it has a little ball on it.
Okay.
Yeah. And then my dog's actually like laying right by my feet. She's a sweetheart.
Oh, yeah, you have a beautiful dog.
Thanks, man.
What's her name again?
Her name is Aura.
Aura. Wow, what a name. Like an aura. That is so cool. Yeah, I love animals. Animals love me. I put the videos up of my friend's dog. It has over 1,500 views. I'm like, oh, that's cool. But I noticed YouTube, what they do is they cap you. Like I only could get capped up to like 1,500 views, and then nobody. It's like it drops. It's just I don't get no views. I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah,
like that's the YouTube, because I'm not over 1,000 yet. So I need to build the subscriber count. And once I built past 1,000, then a lot of those features open up for me, and it's like a more free flowing. But right now, I just feel like I'm still in detention.
You're getting it. You're getting it. We're running the train, bro. We're running it up. We're
Yeah,
in the trend right now.
I'm telling you, like, thank you, Tyson, for being here, like, on the Thursdays, because, I mean, you're not doing this on another channel, I don't believe, and the fact that you're dedicating your time too, that's like is amazing.
Oh, this is great, man. I enjoy chatting with you, and I appreciate you like doing all the WWE stuff, man. It's cool, man. It's really got me back into the WWE. Like I was in it before, and then you ping me. You're like, "Yo, Tyson, you doing?" I didn't even know Clash at the
Clash of Paris.
Clash of Paris was going on. I was like, "Oh man!" I was out and about. I actually, I was filming for another like event, but yeah.
No, I didn't mind you. Like, if you couldn't come, you couldn't come. That's all right, because I sent out the invite, so I'm like, "Look, come and watch, and enjoy." I mean, I don't know if I want to pay ESPN and Disney. I'm just really livid about that at the moment. I canceled my Peacock because I don't watch Peacock, only wrestling. That's why I watch the pay-per-views. I don't watch any episodes or no movies. I'm more into YouTube. I watch a lot of news. I like to be informed. I like to come at least prepared for what I'm going to be talking about and have some kind of common sense. But I don't watch that Peacock stuff, and I'm like, why would I want to be paying $110 a year for app and program that I don't really use?
Yeah.
Only for wrestling. That's all I watch. Yeah. The wrestling. Now the wrestling's leaving. They're going to ESPN, and I'm like, damn, man, that's $30 if I want to pay, every month for that. It's like,
doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense.
Well, I think I'm thinking about that VPN and probably
change the location.
Yeah, because I think
I can send you a link too. I can send you a link.
Okay.
For like some stream stuff too.
Yeah, because like I know Netflix, they'll be showing WWE PLEs, the PLEs. They show it on Netflix, but over in Europe. So I could switch my with the VPN from US to Europe, and then we could watch whatever pay-per-view PLEs until ESPN says enough. We're taking over. Like Disney is craving for Disney spending money that they don't have, and I don't know. Disney, that's another bag of worms there with Disney.
Disney, man. They went down the tank. They went down the tank, man.
That's another show. That's not this show. That's another show. We're gonna talk about Disney because that's just horrible. But I wanted to check out this quick little story. It's about a minute and 53 seconds, and then we'll talk about it right after. So, okay, here we go.
After two children were found all alone wandering the streets of North Miami earlier this week, and police have now arrested the children's aunt. Local Jolina Esperto is live outside of the jail in West Miami-Dade with the details. Jolina.
Yeah, Alexis, Eric, this is scary to see anytime, anywhere. Two small children wandering around the side of a very busy road. But it did happen just Monday in North Miami. Fortunately, both children were all right.
What?
Two children left alone for 2 hours wandering around this building.
Are you kidding me?
Came into police from North Miami Monday afternoon. You can understand the concern. Police say the children were wandering near the roadway, no shoes on, cuts on their feet. Soon, police were able to make contact with the children's aunt, Nera Louise Lazaire. She was arrested and charged with child neglect. In her mugshot, she does appear teary-eyed. And in court, the judge said,
I'm going to do a dollar bond. She has enough problems. DCF probably took her children.
Yes, $1. She's on an immigration hold. This could have been a tragedy, but police say they got there just in time.
She said they were supposed to be supervised by her 14-year-old son who was asleep.
And as you heard there, the judge was lenient toward the children's aunt, posting a bond of just $1. Now we're waiting to see if she does that, and we are at TGK Correctional Center now to see if she walks out. I'll keep an eye out, try and talk with her if she does. Now, as for body camera footage from this, police told us we would get that yesterday, but there were some complications, so we're hoping to get it today. We'll keep pressing them for it, and of course, if we get it, we'll be sure to let you see it. But for now, I'm reporting live from TGK Correctional Center. Jolina Espirito, Local 10 News.
All right, that's crazy. How are you gonna leave your kids outside for 2 hours
and then get $1 bond?
And $1 bond.
She has enough problems already. I'm gonna give her $1 bond. What? Is that a world record? I've never even heard of that. I've never even heard of somebody getting $1 bond.
Never. Look, I have $1. I have $3 right here. I have a dollar. Oh, I can make myself a little big. Hold on. Let me see if I can do this real quick. I have a $1 bill here.
Yeah.
And then I have a $2 bill right here.
Dude, you could bail out 3 times.
3 times. That's even better. Like $1. $1.
She let her kids roam
Yo, that's
around.
a cheap. Let me tell you something. That's a cheap babysitter. I tell you right now, the police officers that had to take care of those kids and all that stuff is a lot cheaper $1 than it is a babysitter these days.
Cost them more than $1. By the time they got to the police station, they had to buy snacks and all this other stuff. That was at least $15 in the vending machine.
Oh, Stephanie, you make me laugh too. Yeah, I mean, that's wild. $1. I think that's a record. I've never heard of that, especially children.
Yeah,
like maybe the kids. Okay, if the kids snuck out and you fell asleep, whatever, I could possibly understand. But then you should have a better locking system for your door if you knowing your kids are very like snoopy and very devious at a young age. I mean, I don't know what the mom does. There's a lot more to the story. I'm going to follow up on the story this week. Actually, probably tomorrow, we'll get the body cam footage of the kids and see what was the process and what they did. And like $1 bond. I'm pretty sure, I'm telling you this. She probably worked hard. She got tired. She fell asleep. You know, she woke up and the kids weren't there or something. Or if they say, no, she went out and then she came back and the kids were out and about, I'm like, then how did she get $1 bond?
Yeah.
You know? But if the kids were out and then the cops got
Even
there.
then, man, like, dude, your kids are supposed to be locked up and secure in the house, you know?
You would think, right?
As a parent, I'm not a parent, but I would assume that if you got kids, the doors are going to be locked correctly. You're going to monitor your kids, but
I would have I'll chip them. I'll put a damn, like, you got to put like GPS or something on their clothes.
Yeah, pop an air tag in their belts.
Yeah. Put like a little safety thing, you know, that they could be tracked, because kids these days, they're very advanced because of technology. Because you got to remember, these kids, they have tablets, they get spoiled. Like my little niece, she's spoiled. She has tablet, she has access like to the big screen television and watching movies and watching Disney Plus and all this, you know, she's very advanced. So these kids are like, Dora, the Explorer. Oh, I want to go explore too. Open the door. Bye. You know, and the kids are out. You know, it's like, what's going on here?
Steph said my nephew came back in a cop car once because my brother's mom was asleep, and he took the card at 6 a.m. and walked to 7-Eleven for snacks. Boy,
I have a story, Tyson. I have a story. I have a story to share with you, an experience that happened to me as a little boy. I was actually, oh shit, yes. I was like how old was I? About 6 years old? 6 years old. I think it has been 6. My parents were getting ready for date night, right? I didn't want to go nowhere. I didn't want to be babysitted that night or taking care of anything, right? So they took me to a babysitter that they went down the street, made a left turn, went down about half a mile, made a right, went down one block, made a left, and then made a right, and the house was there. I remember that as a little boy. And my parents gave me off to the babysitter with my sister. My sister was about what? She was about it was about 4 years old at that time. So we went into the house, right? And it was already dark outside. And I go inside the house, and I never been there before, and I felt like this energy of a spirit there. Like I felt something evil was there in that house, and I did not feel comfortable, and I was scared because everything was dark. There was no lights, like they didn't turn on the lights or anything, and I got freaked out, and I opened the door and I left running, and I ran back to the house. When I got to the house and I opened the door and I walked in, my mom started screaming. My dad started freaking out. Like he's like what the hell the fuck you got here? Like he looked outside to see if anybody dropped me off, and he's like, how did he get here? And I told him I ran here. Yeah. You know what? I'll bring my father. I swear on my life, true story. I'll bring my father and my mother on here, and they'll tell you that day. Like they're like, yeah, he was that little. He ran from like almost like 3 miles, 4 miles like away,
Yeah.
and he came all the way to the house, and my
That's
mom was still
funny.
getting ready.
That's funny, man.
Yo,
You dipped out.
I dipped out, but my parents never got in trouble or anything. I ran straight home.
Yeah.
I was very attentive to things.
Yeah, you weren't walking around barefoot around
No, I had
North
shoes
Miami.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
North
ran across
Miami.
that street. I crossed 36th Street. Like I lived right by Jackson High School, which is in Miami. You could anybody who wants to look it up, look it up. Well, I didn't live far from there, so I knew the school was there, and I knew didn't live far from the apartment. So I ran back home. And you know what? I got my butt kicked. My mom wanted to come after me. I hid underneath the bed, and between like I got underneath the bed, I was scared. And mom was like, my dad had to pull me out. He's like, no, we're not doing nothing, but we freaked the fuck out, and they had to cancel date night. And then my parents went back with me over there and knocked on the door, freaking out. It's like, what the fuck? Like, my kid ran back home. Were you taking care of him? And they're like, oh shit, we didn't know he left, and this and that. So, yeah, it was a crazy night.
That's wild.
Yeah, but I don't you see the kids letting loose like that, and her going out for $1. I kind of, kids are fucking devious. I was devious. I was very young.
Steph wrote something in the comments. She said, the newspaper lady chased me home with her car. I was on my bike because I put pennies in the machine and jammed it. She said she pedaled so hard. I remember those days. It made me think about something. There was some construction behind my mom's house at the time, and we put fireworks in the porta potty, like a bunch of fireworks. And I remember the construction guy jumping in his truck and chasing up. And I just remember jumping on the bike and like pedaling so hard, trying to get home. It's hilarious.
Oh Lord, Stephanie, that's crazy.
The artificial bike chases, thinking somebody's chasing me, but nobody's chasing me.
That's what happened to Stephanie. I was like, that's crazy. Like, wow. Like, yeah. So, I kind of feel for the parent. It happened. Like, I I left. Like, my dad, like, I got to bring him on here one day. I said, look, Dad, you want to come on? I haven't talked to you in a long time, but fuck it. We need some truths here. Like, confirmation. Like, boom. Like, holy shit. It happened. And this is what really happened. And my dad would tell you guys, like, that was just a crazy fucking night.
That's funny.
I was really observant when I was little. I kind of had like ADD, ADHD. I was like special in a ways, but not like da da da. I was like really advanced. So my brain process things and remember things easily. And yeah, I mean, I blame my parents for, I guess, because I was paying attention to everything that was going on the outside. I was never like distracted, like with cell phones these days. These kids, they have these devices, they have tablets, they're always looking down, looking at cartoons or videos and not paying attention to the real world. And then one day they're going to be out in the real world. They're not going to even know what the fuck is going on or where they're at.
Right.
It's crazy. It's wild. But I got I don't know if you want to hang around, how you feeling?
Yeah. What you got?
You feeling? I got a story on Chicago business owner outraged by some release.
Let's jump in.
Yeah, I got also missing children recovered in Trump's unprecedented crime sweep. I have also DC sues Trump administration over Department of Department for deployment of National Guard. I can't really see from this distance. I need a bigger television. I got a 65-inch and it's still not big enough. Yeah. So, and then your shows, I show them at the end.
Yeah, jump in. I'm gonna actually pop up this other camera. So yeah,
Okay.
jump into that, and then I'll get readjusted here.
Okay, yeah, because I got like also the U.S. officials say more operations against cartels coming, which I'm very interested in that. So I would like to go right now, since we're talking about children and recovering children like me. I ran straight to my parents, and my parents were so mad to see me. I never seen, you know how you're so happy to see your kid. They were so mad to see me. They're like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah,
my
they were
mom
about to get it on,
on the
bro.
screen, like, what the fuck?
They were about to get it on before they went on date night, man. You messed up the flow.
Dude, they saw me and they freaked out. And I remember everything that happened that night and everything. And my memory goes way back, like I said, like I remember stuff like it's wild. But let's go ahead and
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna get readjusted here. Yeah, play it.
yeah, they should have gave me some Robitussin. All right, Tyson, I'm gonna go ahead and play this story here. Let me just set it up. this is a good night. This is awesome.
DC already producing results. We've been telling you about all of those. The president posting the numbers on Truth Social moments ago. In just under a month, the city has seen nearly 1,700 arrests, including more than 700 criminal alien arrests. And they've also recovered 5 missing children. Let's bring in Gadi Saralto. He's director of the U.S. Marshals Service. I am a big fan of the Marshals. And if anyone out there is looking to go into law enforcement, I think they should join you. And here's one of the reasons why.
I wish I was
the number
younger.
Of arrests and the guns seized, all of that's been
I would
very
have been an
impressive.
officer.
But what surprised me and caught my attention was that
An ICE
5
officer.
children were recovered. Like, that seems significant to me. How does that happen? Where were they? How do they get recovered?
So one child is significant, as you know, Dana. The missing child is just destroys families. So when the Marshal Service core mission of missing children, finding missing children, it's very rewarding for us, and we get to start these families on the healing process. So we found 5, as you mentioned, some pretty significant cases. One in particular was a 15-year-old that had given birth to a child that was in intensive care, we're launching an investigation into the father of that child, which we believe is going to be a 27-year-old.
Wow.
For the children that are reported missing, that could be up to age 18, I imagine, across the United States. 29,568 missing children in 2024.
Wow.
The recovery rate is 91%, which is
crazy.
Obviously, that's a very good recovery rate, but that means that there's still 9%
There's still a lot.
that aren't. And so what are the tools that you have under the Trump administration to try to help find them?
So first and foremost is the backing, right? We have law enforcement has unprecedented backing by this administration. We're very grateful for that.
You need to get the
as you
citizens
know,
involved.
we gifted the president a United States Marshal badge and a handcuff key so he can continue to unhandcuff law enforcement. When it comes to missing children, we work very closely with the National Center for Missing and Endangered Children. And together we work hard, right? We're the best at finding individuals that don't want to be found. That is the core mission of the Marshal Service. Second only to the protection of our judiciary, which is also extremely important.
For children, maybe, I don't know if you can speak specifically to, I know we have to protect them, but for the ones that were found in DC, were they hiding in plain sight or were they being hidden? How does that happen? So
most were hiding in plain sight. One was found in a rear bedroom, but we were given permission to enter the house. They range in age, as you mentioned, but we had a 14 and a 16-year-old that are persons of interest in a sex crimes investigation, where a 41-year-old is being accused of using a 16-year-old girlfriend that is luring these other young girls to them. All 5 of our missing children found are women, are females. And they're all, as you said, under the age of 17.
Is this what you've been doing in the last few weeks? Is that different from what would have happened before President Trump did the DC crime crackdown? And what kind of cooperation have you had and will you hope to continue to have with the mayor, Muriel Bowser?
So so far, they've come on board and they're working very well with us. The Metro Police Department is a huge part of our task force. So are 21 other agencies other than the United States Marshal Service. I have the honor of leading them through this surge. And as I mentioned, the backing of the president is what allows us to focus more resources into these crimes that we investigate every day. We're just doing more of it in DC.
Gadi Serralta, thank you so much for being here. That number, it caught my eye, and I'd love to stay in touch with you as this maybe continues in other cities across the nation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey everyone,
Wow,
I'm
that is
Emily
a-
Campagno.
First of all, I think that number is very underestimated. I think there's a lot more that are missing, and they're gonna need to continue pushing to get more of these kids found, because a lot of illegal kids are here in the United States and they're being trafficked like crazy. And who knows? I see them, but they're like in weird places like ranches and places you wouldn't expect them being.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
Yeah. Yeah, they're
A little echoey.
Was that?
A little echo.
Is it?
Yeah. It's like it sounds like you're in a hallway.
Sounds like I'm in a hallway. Hold on.
You sound a little better now.
Do I? Hold on. I got this wireless mic on. Let's see. All right. Is that better?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, cool.
How you feel about that wireless mic?
I like it actually. I've had it for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used it to like shoot just random stuff, and then when I was out on the go and stuff like that, I like it. They have newer versions of this mic, which I know are a lot better. This one's a little bit older. I think it's like 2.5 years old. Pretty good mic though.
And I can connect.
It's the DJI.
Okay, and it's easy to connect to like your phone or computer.
Yeah. It actually comes with this super cool case.
All right.
And the case charges up. It's actually really
right.
neat. Yeah.
So give me ideas for Black Friday. That's coming.
Yeah,
Not to,
yeah.
Gotta save up for Black Friday.
Yeah.
You got 2 months to go.
I do think there's a lot of kids still missing. Unfortunately, the border was wide open for so long. So many, kids came through that. Also, there's so many kids that go missing during Super Bowls and World Cups and big events like this. And it's real. I'm glad that they were able to find some of these kids, and they still continue to find kids, because a lot of these kids are in situations that are not good. They're not good situations.
Nah, they're not good situations, and it's gonna lead to my next story of not good situations. We're gonna go straight to DC sues Trump administration over deployment of National Guard, which is stupidity to me. But I let you guys be the judge, and we're gonna watch together. So without further ado, let's go ahead and watch.
And welcome back to Live Now from Fox. This news broke a little bit earlier in the day, but we wanted to bring it to you here on Live Now from Fox. And I wanted to give you a live look at the White House right now, as we did learn a little bit earlier today. The District of Columbia is sued to stop President Trump's deployment of National Guard troops during his law enforcement intervention in Washington, with the city's top legal officials saying the surge of troops amounts to a forced military occupation. Brian Schwab, he's the district's elected attorney general, said in the federal lawsuit that the deployment, which now involves more than 1,000 troops, is an illegal use of the military for domestic law enforcement. Let's share that post with you here on your screen right now as you are taking a look there from Attorney General Schwab there. President Trump has already said he plans to send the National Guard into Chicago and Baltimore despite opposition in those Democrat-led cities. And the White House said deploying the Guard to protect federal assets and assist law enforcement is within President Trump's authority as president. Now, I did want to read you quickly here what you are seeing on your screen, saying from Schwab, we are suing to block the unlawful deployment of National Guard troops to D.C. Armed soldiers should not be policing American citizens on American soil. The forced military occupation of the District of Columbia violates our local autonomy and basic freedoms. It must end. Members of the DC National Guard have had their orders extended through December. That's according to a Guard official. And while that does not necessarily mean all those troops will serve that long, it is a strong indication that the role will not wind down anytime soon. And here's some of that footage that we have gotten here over the past several days and weeks. A federal judge in California ruled on Tuesday that President Trump's deployment of National Guard troops to Los Angeles after protests over immigration raids in June was illegal. It does not directly apply to Washington, where the president has more control over the Guard than in states. Several GOP-led states have added National Guard troops to the ranks of those patrolling the streets and neighborhoods of the nation's capital. Schwab's filing contends that the deployment also violates the Home Rule Act, signed by President Richard Nixon back in 1973, and wrongly asserts federal control over units from other states. This lawsuit of note here, this is the second from Schwab, whose office is separate from Washington's federal U.S. attorney, a presidential appointee, against the Trump administration since Trump asserted control over the city's police department and sent in the Guard. Those actions have been with protests from some residents. President Trump has said the operation is necessary to combat crime in the district, and Mayor Muriel Bowser, who's a Democrat, has pointed to a steep drop in offenses such as carjacking since this all began. Violent crime has been an issue in the capital for years, though data showed it was on the decline when President Trump intervened with that executive order on August 11th. So we are following that breaking news here. The District of Columbia suing the Trump administration over the deployment of the National Guard. We'll continue to follow that here for you on Live Now from Fox.
What do you think about that, Tyson? I think it's crazy.
Sorry, I was muted. I was responding.
No, that's good. Yeah, I mean, to Trump, I think Trump is he's the number one top of the crop of all presidents to be sued. I mean, that guy gets a lawsuit every day. No president in history has as Trump has done and has gotten sued many times in the first 8 months of his damn presidency. That's a world record.
They'll still continue to sue him too.
That's a record. He sneezed, there's a sue.
Yeah.
Instead of saying "Hachu," they say "we sue." It's like, my goodness, what's going on? Like, I feel bad for Trump. It's just like Trump needs to continue. He needs to push through this bullshit and just boom, just keep going. Just don't stop. You're mandated by the people that voted for you to be president, to take charge and lead us forward and cut through the bullshit, because there's nothing but shit and you could go right through it. I don't like these paid activists. I feel like Soros feeling. I'm having that Soros energy. I'm feeling that Soros money that's flowing through the states and making this happen. And it's old. Maybe you got people in the 70s and 80s, and you convinced a lot of people with your money, but now I'm like, something don't smell right.
It's interesting because with this federal lawsuit, to end the national deployment, what they say it takes effect in September?
Yes. I think they got an extension for 30 days. I'm not 100% sure. Instead of staying a certain time, I think they got an extension. I think it's like they extended, I think, 30 days or something like that. But then now they want to sue DC City. Like, it doesn't, like, Mayor Bowser doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Why are they're praising you and now you're suing?
Right.
Like, it does not make sense.
Right.
Like,
She
what's
came out
going on?
last week and commended the Trump administration for helping. She openly admitted that, hey, crime is down, all this stuff is down, and then this comes down the pipe. But what happens when federal intervention's gone? This crime go back up, and not to say that's going to happen. That's going to happen, but it's working
The
right
chances
now.
are high.
Yeah, it's working right now. So keep it working for a little bit to create like a habit. Like, hey, we're enforcing law now. We're enforcing law. We're enforcing all these things. So keep it rocking for a little bit.
Nah, they just. I think Trump just needs to depend on the American people's energy, and he's given the green light to do what he's doing. If he needs to go to the Supreme Court, so be it. If they want to fight for tick to tack, then meet them at the tick and attack and go at it, because you're not going to slow Trump down. He is the president of the United States for a reason, and we have him for another 3 years and 3 months. So, like, I'm very excited for him, but I'm very scared for him too, because I don't see him finishing his term. For some reason, Tyson, I don't see him finishing out his term, man. I feel like if JD takes over, JD can get elected and continue the saga and in memory of Trump. I think that would win the hearts of a lot of Americans here, and it discouraged the Democrats to what they are, rats. So be it. But man, I hope nothing happens to him, but I just don't feel right. It's just the energy doesn't feel right. He just needs to keep doing what he's doing and keep doing it hard.
It's amazing. It's amazing for what he's done. Up
in a short amount of time.
Yeah, we're in September, and the stuff that this administration has been able to accomplish, they also are doing a lot. Like, they came in with a full agenda to knock out all these things all at once. Yes, some things fell through the cracks. Some things just some stuff didn't work out the way that it was, intended to work out. But that's expected when you're rolling out just so much stuff. And you got to deal with all the crap from the previous administration.
Very true, man. It's like, hopefully they could figure this shit out, but we can't have a Two-Face as a mayor of DC. It doesn't make any sense. Like, how are you you're gonna bite the hand that feeds you and the hand that's helping you, and then two-facing it, because that's all it is. The Democrats are becoming two-faces, and like, how are you going to sue Trump because he's sending help and National Guard to and the Washington D.C. is federal anyways. So I don't even understand why is she mayor of it. It doesn't even make sense. Trump should be the one in charge of DC, and that's it. We don't need a mayor. You know, you could have a police chief and a fire chief, and that's fine. But why you wasting money on a mayor?
Right.
She ain't doing shit. What does she does? She's just a mouthpiece for the Democratic Party. You can
Correct.
just see it. You see it every day in the news. Like, she's a very hypocrite, like big time hypocrite. It just makes me mad, you know. So I just want to jump back into Chicago for a second, because Chicago is just crazy and just they're just crazy. So let's go ahead and just take a quick look at this one. And
Chicago small business owner Sam Sanchez. Sam, thank you so much for taking the time for being with us tonight. It's good to see you. You know, what do you make of all this?
Thank you, Liz. You know what's great hearing my old friend Lori Lightfoot, the previous mayor of Chicago. I mean, in 2020, she asked for a moratorium on electronic monitors because they were releasing violent repeat offenders. And her and I talked about this many times. Stop releasing repeat offenders, violent repeat offenders, murder, rape, shootings. I mean, it's just absolutely insane. We had asked for the repeal on the Safety Act. We asked for an amendment on the Safety Act, and no one of the state legislators has heard us. Yes, the governor today made a statement that we want ATF, we want FBI, we want all the federal agents to arrest people, but we want them to be prosecuted through the federal court. People have spoken out. We're tired of crime. We want to live in a safe city. We want our kids to walk their dogs in the middle of the night without being in danger of attack. We saw 3 young men being attacked just to be robbed. We see kids getting shot in the head. The amount of children that are being shot is ridiculous. No mom should go through this suffer. No business owner could survive through the constant crime.
You know, we're looking at the data. You know, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker admitted he sent in the National Guard to protect the Democrat National Convention 2024. He deployed the Guard to assist with things like COVID testing during the COVID pandemic and after the social justice riots in 2021 and 2022. But now he won't do it to keep his citizens safe. What do you make of that? Because, you know, violent crimes in Chicago, again, 100,000 of them. Chicago is the murder capital of the U.S. for 13 straight years. Just 1 out of 7 criminals have been arrested out of nearly 148,000 crimes since January. So what would you say if you were talking to J.B. Pritzker, Lori Lightfoot, and Mayor Brandon Johnson now about what Trump is trying to do to stop Chicago's historic crime?
I mean, number one, I mean, communication. There's no communication. Nobody wants to call each other. That's the biggest mistake. We should come to a middle ground. We should work things out. The National Guard, I think, is a temporary solution. I think the solution is bringing back the Operation Legend, which the federal government prosecuted all gun violence. That works. We know it worked in the last 5 months of President Trump's administration. What we do know is that maybe the numbers are coming down, but no mother could justify losing their child. No matter, you can't tell a mom that there's 100 shootings less. That doesn't help the citizen. People should be able to walk home, should be able to get off their bus and walk home from school while their parents are at work. If the National Guard is coming, which I don't think that's the solution to it, if they're coming, then they should be in the schools and the public transportation, not in the financial district, not in the entertainment district, but in the neighborhoods where the shootings are happening, where you see all these kids, like 50 or 70 people being shot in the past week and the last 2 weeks, too many shootings, and it continues happening every year. This is nothing new in Chicago. It just keeps going, and there's no solution to it. We need federal prosecutors that put people in jail and that hold people accountable, criminals accountable. I mean, our previous mayor, Lori Lightfoot, asked for a moratorium because she knows the electronic monitor is not working. Our sheriff, Tom Dart, is not managing anymore the 2,600 prisoners they had in electronic monitor. They all went to Chief Justice Tim Evans, who already is overwhelmed and has no monitor. Nobody's monitoring them anymore. So there's dangerous criminals on the streets.
Sam Sanchez, we'll stay on the story. Okay, thanks for being with us tonight. We like hearing your insights on what's happening. It's good to see you.
That's crazy.
That's Chicago for you. Chicago.
Chicago's nuts, man. Like, what's going on in Chicago? I mean, I had another thing that ran into it. I mean, I don't know if you want to see it real quick, Tyson. It's only like 3 minutes long.
Sure.
But it kind of ties into this. And there's a lot of craziness going on in this world, and these kids are not learning. And these types of incidents that are happening is going to get another kid killed. Okay, we started off this show with an 11-year-old doing this ding dong idiot kick, whatever he did, and got killed. Well, we had some incident that happened up in Massachusetts in UMass. I just want to check this story out with you, and then we'll just share our opinions, and then we'll wrap it up with Tyson. It was a great show, Tyson.
It was great, man. I love this.
I thought I sent that, but it didn't send until now. So you'll read it in a moment. Let's take a look at the story, and then we'll wrap it up.
Investigators say the person caught on video walking around the UMass Lowell campus was carrying an airsoft gun, and the person has been identified as a teenager. Videos like this one here caused a frightening school lockdown and a massive response from law enforcement. Students locked themselves in classrooms and dorms. Boston 25 News reporter Ellie Murillo is live in Lowell on campus at Wilder Street and Broadway Street. Ellie, students are nervous about going back to their normal routine.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and look, all we know right now is that suspect is a juvenile. I actually want all of you at home to take in what campus feels like right now. Today marks the second day of class for students and staff. After hours of fear and uncertainty here, the real question is, what's next? This photo released by Lowell PD shows the airsoft weapon they say that teenager was carrying. Video quickly circulated across social media of a person walking through the campus of UMass Lowell on Wednesday, triggering a large-scale manhunt from local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies. That teen was also captured on home security footage heading towards the residence hall. You see them turn around and point that airsoft weapon in the other direction, causing a frantic and a barricaded lockdown on campus.
Once we saw the video, we're like, oh, it's actually real.
I'm still kind of scared to go back, so I'm staying with my friends for now.
In a statement, the department says the safety of the city and its residents, as well as visitors, is their top priority. I showed up to Lowell Police Department for more answers on possible charges or any word on an arrest. They tell me they cannot release more information because the suspect is a juvenile.
The threat was very real to you, given the information that you had.
A virtual meeting held for everyone on campus on Wednesday opened space for students and staff to share their emotions as they continue to grapple with what happened.
The fact that it was an airsoft pellet gun that we know now does not make a difference in how you felt yesterday. Your reactions were right. Your reactions were exactly as they should have been.
And a question that was brought up in that virtual meeting was, how long will it take to not feel traumatized? This gives you sort of an insight on how students are feeling as all of this unfolds. We are live in Lowell. I'm Ellie Murillo for your local station, Boston 25 News.
Ellie, thank you. Well, here's a side-by-side comparison of the weapon recovered by police in Lowell and a similar but real weapon taken by police in California. Federal law requires airsoft guns to have an orange barrel tip to distinguish them from real guns.
You don't see it.
One confiscated does not have that, making it look like a real weapon, especially at a distance.
That is wild, Tyson. That airsoft looked like a real thing.
Yeah, most of those airsoft guns do have orange tips, but you can easily just use a black permanent marker to.
That's true too.
Wash that out. But this is scary because students or anybody doesn't know if that's a real gun or not if somebody pulls that out and starts shooting. So that's a real situation there. And then also, even like an airsoft gun can put somebody's eye out. It's they're pretty powerful.
Yeah, you poke your eye out. Like it's just like I'm just thinking, right? Because we just saw in the beginning, we started the show with the 11-year-old being killed, and then you have this one now with an airsoft. and it actually looked real. It looked better than the real one.
Yeah.
And how can you distinguish if it's real or not? How about if someone wants to be a hero and saw that and ran them over with a car or came out of the car and shot him with a gun,
Right.
to prevent him from causing harm? Like, then they're gonna come to find out, oh, he's dead, and all he had was an airsoft.
But that's, you know, you don't know that. You don't know that at the time. You just feel that your life is threatened.
Yeah, adrenaline. You know, you can run them over. You run them over and be like, look, I thought he had a real gun and he was waving it around and I ran the motherfucker over.
I'm surprised
And
he didn't get shot.
I'm surprised, yeah.
Or the
Yeah,
police didn't shoot him, you know?
because the police responded quick. That's why. And the fact that they caught him and they found the weapon and so forth, and to come to find out it's airsoft.
Right.
Like, are you kidding me? Anyways.
It's wild. It's wild.
Yeah,
man.
it's a while. But thanks, Tyson, so much
Yeah.
for coming through, dude. We
Bro,
killed it.
this is great. I love it. I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah.
I know you're gonna
I'm-
probably wrap up the show. You probably still got a lot. You do.
I just got, listen, I got one left. I have one left of news, which is the U.S. says more operations against cartels coming. That's the last one. And then I always like to end the show with your show.
You rock,
So
man.
you could leave before I start your show.
You rock, man. Well, dude, yeah, thank you for having me on, man. We'll get on a schedule and we'll start rocking these, man. This was a great show, man. I really appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, we got to clip it, put it on the shorts because we had a lot of good moments and funny moments too. So it's like, I like it. I like
Yeah,
this
me
flow.
too.
I'm pretty sure Stephanie could be the judge of it, and Terry and everybody else who's watched.
Yeah, I love it, man. And shout out to everybody in the comment section too. So, but yeah, man, I'm gonna jump on out, dude. I'll ping you here in a little bit. But yeah, man,
Awesome.
I really appreciate you having me on. Thank you so much.
Tyson, thank you, bro.
All right, man. All right, we'll
All
chat
right,
in a bit.
good night.
Later.
All right. So, as Tyson's leaving, he's going to be leaving in a moment. There he goes. And he's going to go take the puppy out, take the baby out, and spend time with the doggy outside because this is the twilight hour. It's the best time for the dog to go out. It's night a little cooler because the sun is not totally beaming. Like, the desert is just wild, especially where he's at in Nevada. Here in Connecticut, it's just nice at night. It's been getting cool lately at night, but it doesn't happen until later at night. Terry knows, and Kayla knows too, and Stephanie knows. It's starting to change. But I do want to catch these two episodes that are coming up. I have this one that is about the U.S. officials. I want to see that one, and then I'm gonna catch the last episode of Tyson DeLacruz, and then we're done for the night. So let's go ahead and start.
Detailing the reasons for a strike that killed 11 suspected members of that Venezuelan Tren Aragua gang in international waters. Senior officials from the White House have signaled that more military operations against cartels are likely as the Trump administration justifies that strike, saying it falls under the president's authority to defend the United States. Let's bring in our senior national policy correspondent, Ann Flaherty, also national security analyst, Mick Mulroy. So, Ann, the White House facing this deadline today to justify why this strike happened. So what do we know?
Yeah, that's right. So under the War Powers Act, the president is supposed to tell Congress if it's sent U.S. troops into any kind of hostilities. This is intended to bring Congress into the fold anytime that a president makes a decision that would put troops in harm's way. But something like this, we know that President Trump is likely going to argue, look, the U.S. National security is at risk. I have the power to do this. The war powers debate has been raging for more than 100 years. Whether or not a president should give Congress some sort of control in deciding matters of war and peace. I don't see a lot of lawmakers pushing back on this. Certainly not the Republican-led Senate or House on this. They are going to say that the president needs to do what he needs to do.
Mick, are we officially seeing a new war on drugs here?
So, Kara, it does look that way, and it's important to point out that the U.S. has been preparing for this since they've essentially announced several of these drug cartels, mostly linked to the Maduro government in Venezuela, as foreign terrorist organization. Once that happened, it's likely that the intelligence community started focusing on these organizations, both for collecting information on what they're doing, but also as a potential target. And we can see, as it happened on September 2nd, they became the target. And so this is probably something that is just at the beginning of an overall campaign. Certainly we surged a lot of military assets to the region. And if they continue to do this under similar circumstances, it's likely that they will continue to take strikes. And of course, if they take direct action against the U.S. military, that could escalate this substantially. But that's why I believe we surged so many assets to the region.
Well, and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has already expressed that he's got issues with the Pentagon's legal limits on the use of force. Do we know if he's going to push those limits?
Well, we do know that he says this repeatedly. Every time he talks to the troops, he always says, listen, we've got your back. And there are a lot of questions about what exactly does that mean? Because as you mentioned, there are laws that govern armed conflict, international laws and U.S. laws. But of course, the president and Pete Hegseth have said, we want to loosen those rules. And we know that, essentially every administration makes these decisions, these game time decisions about whether or not to strike a boat, for example, in the South Caribbean, whether or not they have legal justification for that. I think in somebody like Pete Hegseth's mind, that sort of bureaucratic detail, he's not terribly interested. He says that they are there to win wars. And every time he says this, Kira, he gets cheers from a lot of his audiences who are troops.
And Flaherty McMulroy, thanks, guys.
Yeah, we need to support that, and we need to have security in DC and not worry about what people's feelings are. Like, fuck your feelings. We need more security. We need more protection. People shouldn't be fearing to go out to do groceries or even go to the bank to take out a deposit or do a deposit. They should feel safe everywhere they go. And the fact that in Chicago and also in Washington, D.C. and Portland, L.A., everywhere, it's dangerous. You just gotta always watch your back. And like Tyson has my back now. I have his. And we're going to watch Tyson DeLacruz next. And we're going to end up ending the show. It was a great show. I hope you guys are entertained. I hope you guys had a chance at least to release some of that energy from having it build up throughout the day. It's going to be very active in the near future. There will be more people here. The chat room will be going crazy. That's why the monitors are monitors in here, because I have a feeling in the near future the show's going to take off and we're just going to have a lot of unique individuals that are going to come through. Okay. So it's going to be awesome. And with that said, let's go ahead and watch Tyson DeLacruz.
State investigators say this is part of a cheating scheme centered in Jacksonville.
America, we just uncovered the most sophisticated cheating scheme you've ever seen, and it's putting your family at deadly risk every time you drive on the highway. Non-English speaking truck drivers are using hidden cameras strapped to their chest, earpieces, and real-time communication to fraudulently pass their commercial's driver's license tests. But here's what's going to make you furious. This same cheating scheme is directly connected to the deadly Florida crash that killed 3 people last month, where truck driver failed his English test so badly he only got 2 out of 12 questions right.
That's crazy. 2 out of 12.
It's all tied to an issue in the news now. Just days ago, a truck driver in South Florida arrested after a crash that killed 3 people.
What is up, guys? Tyson DeLacruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. This story proves the concerns about non-English speaking truck drivers aren't just about political correctness. They're about life and death safety on American highways. Let me break down exactly how this cheating scheme works, because this is some next level criminal sophistication happening right under our noses. These guys are walking into the DMV with red iPhones strapped to their chest using special harnesses hidden underneath their t-shirts t-shirts with small holes to show the camera lens. They've got wireless earpieces hidden in their ears and real-time video streaming capabilities that would make a spy jealous.
And you see the actual apparatus that he's wearing. He has a chest harness that actually holds the phone.
A red iPhone in the harness, and under a t-shirt, you see the hole right there? So he comes in this t-shirt with a hole cut in.
Here's how this scam works. The test taker sits down at the DMV computer wearing his hidden camera setup while live video of test questions streams to an accomplice waiting outside the parking lot. These accomplices read the English questions and provide the correct answers, then transmit those answers through an earpiece in the test taker's native language. The person taking the test selects the right answers without understanding a single word of English.
That's
Brian
crazy.
says it's kind of like FaceTime. The men sit in front of a computer and wiggle around
Their body language is abnormal.
until somebody outside in a parking lot can read the test questions on the screen in English.
They don't need to be in the
People have been
parking lot.
arrested so far in
Now if you're
Jacksonville,
FaceTime, they can
but
be at home.
Florida Highway Patrol Sergeant Dylan Bryan says this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is happening all over the country. Now let me connect this cheating scheme to real-world deadly consequences. Last month in Florida, Harjinger Singh, an undocumented immigrant truck driver, made an illegal U-turn on a Florida turnpike and killed 3 people in a horrific crash. When authorities tested him after the accident, he only answered 2 out of 12 English proficiency questions correctly and could only identify 1 out of 4 highway road signs.
According to the
Wow.
Department of Transportation, the driver from India
Have him take the
made
test
an
again.
illegal turn across a median. And you can see here the crash scene behind this sign. And you can see it says, official use only, no U-turn. But could he read that?
Governor Ron DeSantis didn't slice up any words when he heard about this. They did an English test and he failed abysmally. Not even close, he says. But how ridiculous is it that somebody would get a commercial driver's license who doesn't understand the language of this country, doesn't understand road signs?
They did an English test and he failed abysmally, not even close. But how ridiculous is it that somebody would get a commercial driver's license who doesn't understand the language of this country, doesn't understand road signs?
This is exactly what happens when people cheat their way to CDL licenses. They get on our highways without the basic ability to read warning signs or communicate with emergency responders, and innocent Americans pay the price with their lives. Now, let me tell you about Connor Dice because his story shows the human cost of this problem. In 2017, Connor was a new graduate of Creekside High School when he was killed in a 26-car pileup on I-95 in Nassau County, Florida. You can hear the desperation in the 911 calls from that night. There's a car that's crushed. Oh my God.
Oh my God. 911 calls from 2017. I-95 near Yulee.
Crazy.
A 26-car pileup. And inside this car, Connor Design, a new graduate of Creekside High.
No mother should be forced to lose their baby.
The truck driver who caused this crash, Yadwinder Shah, spoke Punjabi and needed an interpreter for his disposition. Under oath, he admitted something that would terrify every American driver. I don't read English. There were warning signs starting 6 miles before the crash scene saying,
Crazy.
slow down, traffic stop ahead. At least 3 signs that this driver couldn't read because he didn't speak a lick of English.
I don't read English.
The sign said, slow down, traffic stopped ahead.
Connor's mom still wears a necklace with his fingerprint from the funeral home. 7 years later, she's fighting for Connor's law to require English proficiency for all commercial driver's license. As she says, commercial truck drivers who can't read and speak English, to take them off the road. They are killer drivers, and she's absolutely right about that. Florida Highway Patrol has launched a statewide investigation with dozens and dozens of cases, according to Sergeant Dylan Bryan. All 5 people arrested in Jacksonville for felony charges related to cheating on their CDL tests require interpreters when they were arrested. One of them, Vladislav Yurishik, was found guilty on 2 felonies and sentenced to 8 months in jail. My opinion, It's not enough. Sergeant Brian calls it organized crime fraud, and it says they're looking for the kingpin. This is a very elaborate case, he says. We're shocked to see the extent that they're going to. DMV employees started getting suspicious because one official put it, most people don't start to disrobe when they take the DL test.
They're unbuttoning their shirts.
They are, indeed.
So the 5 men arrested so far, that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Think about how brazen this is. These criminals are walking into government buildings with sophisticated surveillance equipment, committing felonies in real time as
That's
they
crazy.
get licenses to operate 80,000-pound vehicles on highways where your family drives. President Trump has taken decisive action to address this crisis. In April 2025, he signed an executive order requiring that truck drivers who can't read and speak English must be taken off the road immediately. No more games, no more excuses, no more putting American families at risk. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy isn't playing around either. He's threatening to withhold federal funding from states who don't enforce these requirements. California could lose $33 million. Washington can lose $10.5 million. And New Mexico could lose $7 million. Duffy gave these states a simple message. You have 30 days to get in line or risk losing your money.
The Trump administration claims the driver of the semi involved in the crash did not speak English, as Rudabeh said, which is required for truckers to get their licenses. The administration says they will withhold more than $30 million in funding in California if the state does not enforce the English language requirement.
This is what real leadership looks like. No more coddling states that refuse to enforce basic safety requirements. No more putting political correctness ahead of American lives. The truck driver industry has been pushing a narrative of a driver shortage for decades to justify bringing foreign drivers who can't speak English. But Louis Pugh from the owner-operated Independent Drivers Association destroys this myth completely. There is no trucking shortage. The American Trucking Association, unfortunately, has been pushing the narrative for almost 40 years, and unfortunately, it's not true. There are 400,000 plus new CDL issued in this country every single solitary year.
It won't, because there is no trucking shortage. The American Trucking Association, unfortunately, has been pushing that narrative for almost 40 years now, and unfortunately, it isn't true.
So what are the real problems? Pugh explains, we don't have a driver shortage, we have a training shortage, we have a pay shortage, and we have a parking shortage. The industry has an over 90% turnover rate in long-haul trucking because they treat their drivers like crap.
We don't have a driver shortage. We have a training shortage. We have a pay shortage. We have a parking shortage. We have some shortages, and that's what. And unfortunately, due to those shortages, people don't stay in our industry.
The industry uses fake shortage narratives to justify bringing cheap foreign labor that can't meet basic safety standards. It's corporate greed disguised as necessity. And here's the terrifying question that should keep every American awake at night. How many truck drivers are currently on American highways who failed the same English proficiency test that Harjinger Singh failed? Louis Pugh admits we think there is a lot of them, but that's the unfortunate thing here at the OIDA. We've been trying to figure out some of the information out. The enforcement statistics are absolutely shocking.
According to the Transportation Department, California has done roughly 34,000 inspections that found at least one violation since the new rules took effect, but only one involving an English language violation resulted in the driver being taken out of service. In Washington, there were over 6,000 violations with 4 drivers pulled, and New Mexico hasn't placed any drivers out of service.
All 3 of these states are doing that. And they're allowing people to be on the road that were taken off the road.
This means there are potentially thousands of truck drivers on our highways right now who can't read basic warning signs or communicate with emergency responders. They're driving 80,000-pound weapons while being completely unable to understand the most basic safety information. America, this trucking scandal proves that our highways have become a battlefield between safety and political correctness. We have non-English speaking drivers using sophisticated cheating schemes to fraudulently attain CDL license, then get behind a wheel of an 80,000-pound weapon they can't safely operate. The evidence is overwhelming. We've got sophisticated cheating rings using hidden cameras and earpieces, deadly crashes caused by drivers who can't read warning signs, state refusing to enforce English proficiency requirements, and an industry pushing a fake shortage narrative to justify these dangerous practices. Connor DeIce's mother said it best. These big trucks kill people. They're killers when they get in these crashes. You and I get in our Hyundai, get killed, they walk away. The Trump administration is finally taking action to address this crisis. Every time you see a big truck
That's so
on the
scary.
highway, ask yourself, can that driver read English warning signs? Can they communicate with emergency responders? Can they understand basic traffic laws? Until we enforce English proficiency requirements and crack down on these cheating schemes, American families will continue to pay the ultimate price for the trucking industry's greed and political refusal to enforce basic safety standards. Let me know what you guys think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
All right. That was Tyson DeLacruz there. Thank you very much, Tyson. That was awesome. Yeah, I agree. That's just a lot of people in the highway that are illegally. Like, I would make them take the test again. I will have everybody that has a CDL needs to retake their test, and so that way they don't have to pay for it. The first test is free. If you don't pass it, your license is taken away, and you get to have a second test, but you got to pay for it. Okay, and that's like a penalty for not passing it the first time. You gotta have to pay for it the second, and your license is going to be taken away. That's a heavy pay. That's heavy. So that would make them legitimately go in there and pass the test. Like, if you know your shit, you know your shit. You don't need to cheat if you know. And I think if we could get a lot of these illegals, a lot of people that not supposed to be truck drivers out of here, that opens up a lot more trucks, like more jobs. And I feel like more young people could step up and learn to get their CDLs, learn how to be truck drivers, and take advantage of being a trucker at a young age. And they can make a lot of money. My aunt's husband, he was a trucker, and boy, he used to bring in money. He used to go like far, and he used to come back, and he always come back with a lot of money. So I think the younglings needs to learn how to become truck drivers and fill in the gap. That's the only way that's going to continue. I think Tyson has another video possibly uploading tonight. I should have asked him. I should have asked him. I believe he does, because he always uploads one around 10:15, and I'm 2 minutes away from 10:15. So I'm gonna roll the dice on this and say that he is going to upload tonight, and I'm gonna show this next video that I want us to watch, and it's in reference to Alligator Alcatraz. So let me set it up and watch it. I believe Tyson is doing an upload tonight. So that was from earlier today, that video. So the new upload should be coming up soon. So with that said, let's watch this report from Alligator Alcatraz in South Florida.
Down to a major decision involving Alligator Alcatraz, a judge now reversing the order to shut it down, allowing the migrant detention center in the Everglades to stay open. This is being seen as a major victory for the Trump administration.
And we're getting reaction to the stunning news tonight. Local 10's Magdala Lusan joins us live near Ochapi with more. Magdala.
Oh, she's getting eaten by mosquitoes.
Initial order was just issued 2 weeks ago to the day, asking the state to shut down Alligator Alcatraz as well as move the detainees out. But now with this reversal order in today,
that car was going too fast.
Alcatraz will stay open, at least for now.
I would not be by the
mission
road.
Continues on immigration enforcement.
A win for Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and the state attorney general, who are fighting to keep this property a deportation site for illegal immigrants. An appeals court judge says Alligator Alcatraz will remain open while the legal battle continues.
We said we would fight that. We said the mission would continue. And I'm pleased to say that the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals has just stayed that ruling and stayed the case. So Alligator Alcatraz is, in fact, like we've always said, open for business.
The state attorney general adding his opinion on X, saying, quote, "Victory secured against activist judge who held me in contempt. The 11th Circuit not only blocked Judge Williams' order to close Alligator Alcatraz, but they blocked her from proceeding with the case until the appeal is complete." On August 21st, that judge sided with environmental groups like Friends of the Everglades and the Miccosukee tribe, who sued state leaders claiming construction posed an environmental threat to the wetlands and animals. An appeals judge disagreeing with that and other claims like lights, noise, and waste pollution could be a problem. The Miccosukee tribe of Indians say it's disappointed in the decision, saying, "We were prepared for this result and will continue to litigate the matter. We find some solace in the dissent's accurate analysis of the law and will continue to fight for our mother Everglades." And this appeal ruling is actually 63 pages long. So if you'd like to read it yourself, we have it on our app and on the website. We're live near Ochopee. I'm Magdala Lusan, Local 10 News.
She says 63 pages long. Who's going to read through 63 pages of them saying that this needs to be open and we need to continue this operation? How many trees are we going to cut? Since this is environment, right? This is an environmental case. It's not an immigration case. And now it's about the environment. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's highlight the 63 pages, which is papers that they put out. Where does paper come from? Trees. Oh, so you're going to tell me you destroyed a tree and wrote all this bullshit on 63 pages. Like, how is that good for the environment? Sounds very disturbing, right? 63 pages to write out just to say it's reversed and it's going to continue to stay open. I could have done that in one fucking page. I would have saved you 62 pages. I don't know what's going on in Florida, but like this lowercase judges, these federal judges that think they have power, but they're just the little, they're like a flea, a tick on a dog, right? That's the lowercase federal judges that are interfering and trying to do all this craziness and causing chaos within the United States, because this is not the only judge that's causing chaos. And where's, like, every day is a lawsuit for Trump, right? So how is there a democracy if you have all these rogue judges interfering? Where, like, the Democrats were going crazy for democracy, right? That was their thing. We're not going to have a democracy. It's all about the democracy. Okay. Help me make it make sense. If you have all these rogue judges interfering, how are we ever going to get anything done? And lower court federal judges. This is not like a Supreme Court or like a big like time judge. No, these are like traffic court probably judges. Small federal court judges. They just got too much time on their hands, and the Democrats run to them and, yeah, look, we're going to put in this lawsuit. Look, what a waste. What a waste of time and what a waste of money. I'm just saying. I'm checking up on the Tyson. I sent him a message, but he's outside with a dog, so he's not really paying attention here. Yes, we got it. We got the upload. Man, it happened 4 minutes ago. How come I refreshed? I checked. Wow, okay. So I guess I was talking through the upload, but yes, we do have a new Tyson DeLacruz. Let me set it up for you. Give me a second. It's just going to take me a moment. Oh, it's about the drugs from up here in Boston. He didn't even tell me. He didn't tell me about it, but it's all good. We're going to watch it together. And this is not far from me. Actually, Boston, it's about an hour and a half from me. And we're definitely going to watch this. All right, guys, this is the last Tyson DeLacruz for the night. Thank you for those who are watching, those who watched me and Tyson earlier. It was amazing. We have good chemistry. We keep it entertaining. It was fun, and we're gonna keep doing this every Thursday with Tyson, exclusively, I believe, on My Mind Over Your Matter, which is pretty cool for a lower tier channel to have such a high volume subscriber on here and having a good time. Yeah, it's going to be fun. The future is going to be fun. And with that said, let's watch Tyson DeLacruz.
Drugs seized in a federal crackdown on the Sinaloa cartel in New England.
It led to 171 cartel member arrests. These are high-level arrests.
America, the DEA just delivered the biggest blow to the Mexican cartels on U.S. soil in years. In a coordinated week-long operation, federal agents arrested 171 members of the Sinaloa cartel, the largest drug trafficking organization in the world, right in New England. They seized over 500 pounds of deadly drugs, including 22,000 counterfeit pills that look exactly like legitimate prescription medications. But here's the most disturbing part. These cartel members were using social media to target kids, selling fake Adderall and oxycodone pills that contain lethal doses of fentanyl.
Wow. We were just talking about this. It's cool he did a show about it.
The Federal Drug Enforcement Administration says a week-long cartel crackdown led to nearly 200 arrests just in New England. The DEA says they were all members of the Sinaloa cartel, the largest drug cartel in the world.
What is up, guys? Tyson DeLacruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. This operation proves that Mexican cartels have established deep networks throughout American communities, not just border states, but places like Massachusetts, Connecticut, and New Hampshire. And they're using technology to turn smartphones into drug dealers. Let me break down the scope of this historic bust. The DEA's New England Field Division coordinated with local, state, and federal partners to simultaneously target cartel operations across 3 states, and the results are staggering.
These are from Mexico.
These are just some of the 500 pounds of drugs seized in a federal crackdown on the Sinaloa cartel in New England.
It led to 171 cartel member arrests. These are high-level arrests, not low-level retail distribution.
In Massachusetts, 49 arrests, with Lawrence identified as a regional epicenter. In Connecticut, 64 arrests, the highest number in this operation. In New Hampshire, 33 arrests, including a major Franklin bust, which I covered in a previous video. Over 500 pounds of drugs seized, fentanyl, methamphetamine, cocaine, over 22,000 counterfeit pills confiscated, many containing lethal doses of fentanyl.
So at DEA, we determined that the Sinaloa cartel was the biggest and most dominant cartel throughout New England. So just last week, we launched a Sinaloa crackdown operation targeting the entire drug supply network and the entire criminal network of the Sinaloa cartel.
DEA Special Agent Jared Forget made it crystal clear. These are high-level arrests, not low-level retail distribution. We're going after drug trafficking organizations, the networks. This wasn't just about street dealers. This was about dismantling the cartel's entire New England infrastructure. Here's what makes this operation so significant. It exposes how the Sinaloa cartel has completely modernized drug trafficking. They're not using street corners anymore. They're using the same apps that your kids use every single day.
They're on social media. They're advertising, they're marketing these pills, these counterfeit pills to young people that have no idea what they're taking. They're communicating on encrypted apps on their phone. They're paying for these drugs on their phone, and they're actually coordinating the delivery of those drugs from their phone.
Think about this for a second. Your teenager can buy deadly cartel drugs with just a few taps on their iPhone. The entire transaction from payment to delivery happens digitally. Agent Forget explained the terrifying simplicity. Everything can be done on your phone, all done just with a couple taps.
In a troubling trend, the cartel is advertising fake pills on social media and even taking payments through apps.
Uber, right? Lyft, could be FedEx, could be US Mail. One pill directly to your front door, all done, couple taps on your phone.
The cartel is specifically targeting young people through social media platforms, advertising fake prescription drugs as alternatives, using encrypted messaging apps for communication, and accepting payments through popular mobile payment systems. It's a complete digital marketplace operated by one of the world's most violent criminal organizations. organizations. Now, here's the most terrifying part of this story. The DEA showed off some of the seized drugs, and even their own agents can't tell the difference between real and fake pills.
Forget showed us some of the more than 22,000 pills and other drugs seized during the operation, like signature purple fentanyl, and some drug packaging even displaying the Sinaloa cartel stamp.
I'm a DEA agent. I cannot tell the difference between a fake one and a real one.
Agent Forget, who's been with the DEA for 20 years, was brutally honest. I can't tell the difference between a counterfeit M30, a counterfeit Adderall pill. I can't tell the difference between a pharmaceutical grade pill and one that was made by the cartel.
I've been doing this job for 20 years. I can't tell the difference. A DEA chemist visually cannot tell the difference between a real one and a fake one. These pills are all over the internet.
The cartel is mass producing counterfeit M30 oxycodone pills and fake Adderall tablets that are visually identical to legitimate pharmaceuticals. But here's the deadly reality. 5 out of every 10 pills the DEA sees contain more than 2 milligrams of fentanyl, enough to kill the average person.
The cartels are all suppressing methamphetamine tablets, and these look exactly like an Adderall pill.
Fake pills, fentanyl sticks, methamphetamine.
And it gets worse. With students heading back to school, the cartel is specifically targeting young people who might be looking for study aids like Adderall. They have no idea that they're buying methamphetamine-laced counterfeits that could kill them. The DEA identified Lawrence, Massachusetts as the epicenter of the Sinaloa cartel's New England operation. This is in some border town. This is a city 45 minutes north of Boston that's become a major drug distribution hub for one of the world's most powerful criminal organizations.
When they come in these fentanyl sticks, we know they're from Lawrence, Mass.
Last week, a crackdown in New Hampshire netted dozens of arrests and $100,000.
Agent Forget explained the supply chain. What we find, the drugs typically make their way into Lawrence, Massachusetts area. It seems like the epicenter of what we're seeing in New England. And then they go from there. The cartel has established Lawrence as the regional headquarters because it's a strategic location. From there, they can easily distribute drugs throughout New England using established transportation networks. The 49 arrests in Massachusetts, many concentrated in the Lawrence area, represent a significant blow to the distribution system.
The Sinaloa cartel is responsible for those drugs. So knowing that, we launched this worldwide operation within New England. Going after the Sinaloa cartel meant going after the most dominant cartel in New England.
This shows how Mexican cartels have moved far beyond border operations. They established permanent infrastructure in American communities using our transportation systems and exploiting our digital platforms to poison American citizens. When you understand the Sinaloa cartel's business model, the scope of this threat becomes even more terrifying. Agent Forget explained their mindset with chilling clarity.
It's collateral damage. So if a drug dealer, a cartel member kills somebody, it's collateral damage in their mind. They're all about making money. That's it. They want to make a buck.
The cartel doesn't care if their fake pills kill customers. In fact, it's part of their strategy. If someone survives a fentanyl overdose, they unfortunately become addicted and return for more drugs at higher prices. If they die, it's just collateral damage in pursuit of profit. The cartel is so brazen, they're literally branding their drugs with Sinaloa names. They're advertising their criminal organizations like it's a legitimate business. This shows the level of impunity they feel operating in American communities. The transformation from plant-based drugs to synthetic chemicals has made their operation even more deadly. Agent Forget explains there's been a transformation to drugs going towards synthetic drugs, which means ultimately they're man-made drugs made from chemicals. So virtually all the chemicals that are coming from China work their way into Mexico to the Sinaloa cartel. The scope of the Sinaloa cartel's operations is staggering. This isn't just some regional drug problem. This is a global criminal enterprise that threatens American national security.
So Sinaloa cartel in every single state across America, more than 40 countries around the world, and obviously they're in every state throughout New England.
The New England operation was part of a coordinated global crackdown. The DEA worked with international partners to simultaneously target cartel operations worldwide. The 171 arrests in New England were just part of a much larger operation that netted additional arrests outside the region.
So we made 171 arrests in New England. We also made other arrests outside of New England. So we worked this entire global operation with DEA around the world. So there were other arrests that we worked here in New England that happened elsewhere.
The DEA has over 300 offices in 69 foreign countries, creating a global intelligence network to combat these transnational criminals. This operation demonstrates the level of international coordination required to fight cartels that operate like multinational corporations. The human cost of the Sinaloa cartel's operation cannot be overstated here. The CDC reports that drug overdoses is now the leading cause of death for Americans ages 18 to 45. This isn't just a law enforcement issue. It's a public health emergency.
This year, the Centers for Disease Control reported while drug overdose deaths are declining, overdose is the leading cause of death.
The 22,000 counterfeit pills seized in this operation represents thousands of potential deaths prevented. Agent Forget emphasized the lethality. He says, we know at the DEA that 5 out of 10 pills we seized have more than 2 milligrams of fentanyl in them, which can kill somebody. In this operation, we seized tens of thousands of fake pills throughout New England. Folks, that is lives being saved. The cartels targeting young people through social media makes this crisis even more tragic. College students looking for study aids, young adults seeking pain relief, or people struggling with addiction are all potential victims of these deadly counterfeits.
And I'm fearful as kids are going back to school, they may turn to these drugs. Their friends may turn to these drugs. So my message for your listeners and the students going back to school, do not take any pill that was not prescribed directly to you by your doctor.
Young people seeking academic performance enhancers or recreational drugs have no idea they're potentially buying death sentences from Mexican cartels. The fact that the world's largest drug cartel established Lawrence, Massachusetts as their New England headquarters shows how deeply these criminal organizations have penetrated our country. They're not just crossing our borders, they're setting up permanent operations in our communities. America, this DEA operation represents both a major victory and a somber reality check. The arrests of 171 Sinaloa cartel members and the seizure of over 500 pounds of deadly drugs has undoubtedly made New England safer, but also it reveals the shocking extent to which Mexican cartels have infiltrated America.
Is Massachusetts safer today than it was just a few days ago?
Yes, Massachusetts is safer today as a result of this effort.
Agent Forget was clear about the ongoing matter in this fight.
So this is an ongoing battle, if you will, with these cartels throughout New England, going after these people that are killing our people.
The message to parents and students and communities is clear. Never take any pill that wasn't prescribed to you directly by a doctor. The counterfeit pills flooding our communities look identical to legitimate medications, but they contain lethal doses of fentanyl and methamphetamine. This operation proves when law enforcement agencies coordinate globally and target cartel infrastructure rather than street-level dealers, they can deliver devastating blows to these criminal organizations. But it also shows we're fighting an enemy that adapts quickly, uses our own technology against us, and views American deaths as acceptable collateral damage for their pursuit for profit. The 171 arrests represents 171 cartel members who will no longer poison American communities. The 22,000 seized pills represents thousands of potential deaths prevented. But the Sinaloa cartel operates in every U.S. state in over 40 countries worldwide. The battle is far from over. Let me know what you guys think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you so much, man. That's awesome. It's scary to me because this story hits very close to home. I don't live very far from Massachusetts. I am in Connecticut, and we did have a lot of people arrested. Like I think it's like 64, I believe. That were arrested here with counterfeit drugs, drugs that were pressed with a professional presser too, because they look identical. Like you could not tell the difference. That's why you don't get drugs from the street. You get it from the street, you don't know what the fuck that came from, what it is. You don't even know what it is. You don't know what you're taking. And that's the scary part, because we just had a story yesterday that I covered about these individuals that were pretty young, and they're at a bar, and they all, I think it was a group of them, and they all ended up in the hospital, and one of them out of the 5 passed away. I think it was like 6 people. I think 5 survived and 1 died. I'm not 100% sure on the numbers, but I know it was close to 5 or 6 of them. but one of them died, and they got the drugs from the street, and you just don't know what's out there. So, like they said, get it from your doctor. Your doctor is the best. He's the best drug dealer that ever is. If you're gonna get anything from, get it legitimately from a doctor. Because he's still a drug dealer too. He still get paid. He get paid too. That's the funny shit. The pharmaceutical companies, those motherfuckers are like this. They don't even know what to do with all that money. They're like raining money all over them. Shit, give it to us. Give some to us. Like, damn. And they're like printing like, but the fact that these cartels are able to mimic the medicines the same, like Adderall. Like, you wouldn't even have think that. Okay, you were thinking, yeah, pain medication and us and that, but Adderall, that's disturbing. That's very disturbing. And the fact that it hits home, because I live up here in the Northeast, I know it's bad and it's worse than what they're projecting and what they're saying in the media. That's nothing. It's infested here. Like New Haven, Hartford. Oh my God. Oof. Talking about an infestation. It's polluted. It's I have to do a daytime road trip. Let me show you what it looks like in Hartford. It's I think it's a lot safer in the day than it is at night. I have more confidence in the day than at night. But it's these cities up here, they're especially Bridgeport. Bridgeport, that's closer to New York. That area is just really bad with drugs. I don't like going down that way. I really don't have any business going down that way, so I never go to Bridgeport. But I do want to go to Wigman's that opened up, and I think in Fairfield. Fairfield. I think it's about 40-minute drive for me. About 45-minute drive. It's a new grocery store that we have up here in the Northeast. That there are a lot of them in New York and Pennsylvania and stuff like that. But we just had our first one open here in Connecticut, and they're supposed to open up more of them here. So I'm really looking forward to each one of them opening up and me visiting them, because they have very good food. Their grocery store is it's so big, and they have everything you need. It's just food wise is there. They make sandwiches. This is a great promotion for Wigmans. I'm telling you right now, Wigmans, you owe me a check, Wigmans. At least pay for my candles for the next 6 months. it's Connecticut is pretty it has its nice and it has its crazies, and a lot of the crazy trumps the nice. So I'm really hoping, Trump, if you're watching, if you ever watch, I'm even doing the little prayer hands. Send ICE here to Connecticut. Send ICE. Send all your federal agents. Send the National Guard. Send them all. We need this state to have an enema. We need an enema in this state. We need to flush everything all out. We need to take out the shit and start feeling better again about Connecticut, because the Democrats have run this state to the ground. It's crazy, but it's just Lamont I wish this state could turn red, but we're so close to New York, and the bullshit that comes from New York isn't here in Connecticut. Because you think those fuckers live in New York and New York City? They don't. They live in fucking Connecticut. They take the drive. Okay? The drive is only like 45 minutes to an hour. They do the drive. They do even 2 hours. They rather drive the 2 hours to live here in Connecticut and drive the 2 hours to go back to work. Like, they're crazy like that. They rather live here in Connecticut. So we have a lot of those scum here, and it's going to be hard to take them out of here. The only way we could do it, we got to get all these illegals out. I'm for Trump to send the National Guard here and send the ICE agents here and just clean it up and get these people out. We need to lower our rents. The rents are too high. Every year, the rent has gone up. Ever since Biden took office and took over, the rent has been going up every month, like every year. I mean, every month. Shit, it feels like every month, but every year the rent is going up because there's less availability and more people are requesting, and they're making the rents here more expensive because there's no availability, and it's ridiculous that they take advantage of the people. But we need those prices to come down, and the only way we're going to get these prices to come down is to bring back availability. We need the availability. We need like more, like if there's more demand, more product, to get into, the prices will come down. They put specials. They'll put like, yeah, your rent will be a lot less. We'll give you a free TV. Like that's how they used to do it back in the days. But now they just constantly raising the price. They raise the price like for the past 4 years. They've been going up and up and up. And it's just ridiculous. And I just feel like we need a cap. We need a cap on the rents, and they can't go any higher than a certain amount. And if we get the illegals out, I guarantee you the prices will come down. But I'm going to wrap up the show now because I'm already getting tired. But it was a great show. You got my opinions at the end because I watched Tyson DeLacruz, and we give our opinions on the show like when he was on here. And thank you, Tyson, again for coming through. I truly appreciate you very much, man. And I like the chemistry between us two. It's really good. And yeah, we're going to do it again next Thursday. So stay tuned, watch, subscribe, do all those likes, and everything that Tyson says, just do it. Okay? It's worth it. Thank you again. Have a good morning, good afternoon, and a good night. And I'll catch you all on the flip side. And I'll be back on tomorrow for another show. Sleep tight, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.